Hi, fellow Americans. Today we celebrate Flag Day, the birthday of our stars and stripes. As we think back over the history of our nation's flag, we remember that the story of its early years was often one of hardship and trials, sometimes a fight for simple survival. It was 2 years into the War of 1812 and America seemed to be teetering on the edge of defeat. The British had already taken our capital and burned the White House. All that stood between the British and Baltimore were the guns of Fort McHenry. The British bombardment lasted for 25 hours. Through the dark hours of the night, the rockets fired and the bombs exploded, and a young American patriot named Key, held captive aboard a British ship, watched anxiously for some proof, some sign that liberty would prevail. You can imagine his joy when the next morning in the dawn's early light, he looked out and saw the banner still flying, a little tattered and torn, but still flying proudly above the ramparts. But with the birth of our nation, the cause of human freedom had become forever tied to that flag and its survival. As the American Republic grew and prospered and new stars were added to the flag, the ideal of freedom grew and prospered. From the rolling hills of Kentucky to the shores of California, to the Sea of Tranquility on the moon. And let us never forget that in honoring our flag, we honor the American men and women who have courageously fought and died for it. These anniversaries remind us that the great American experiment in freedom and democracy has really just begun, and they challenge us to match that greatness of spirit in our own time. We are, after all, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Table of Titans. Actually, it's a side Table of Titans. You get a little hors d'oeuvre over here with me and Space Shot because Mr. Tron's off with some barbecue, I guess is the direction it's going, but we're still here. We still got plenty to cover because we got stuff in Iran to cover. We got Israel out in the cold, and then we've got a whole bunch of domestic stuff because they started going raiding LA's homeless shelters and whatnot down there. Skid Row's getting raided by the FBI, which seems to be interesting as they pick up more people facilitating voter fraud out there in California. And Gavin Newsom seems a little bit nervous. I'm not sure exactly what he's getting into, but we got lots to cover. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you guys smash the thumbs up. Yes, we came in there with a little bit of Reagan out there. We always grew up on Reagan. I'm old enough to remember watching him on the TV as a little kid, watching Reaganomics and tear down that wall. We all remember those speeches as kids. So yeah, Americanism's still strong and still here. And we thank you, everybody who showed up. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get into it. Mr. Space Shot, sir.
Well, Nancy and I would just want to say, that's all I remember too from like being a kid, right? Like every speech, it's like Nancy and I just want to say, that's how I remember it anyway. But yeah, he had some great speeches over the years, and we are definitely living in some wild times here, dude, for sure. We got cage matches and motocross on the White House lawn, and oh my goodness, some people, even Hunter Biden today, maybe we'll get to that one later, is taking issue with it, which is so funny because they're all having their little amnesia trip from the male boobs on the White House lawn, which was very interesting, right? They all forgot about that one, Hulk. So lots of craziness going on out there, as Hulk had mentioned. Always want to thank the mods and always give a big hat tip to them for helping myself, Hulk, a few others out there over the years. Very selfless help, so we do appreciate that. Hip, hip, hooray! And
hip, hip.
Can't forget to give Country and the folks over there at Liberty Base News, who has been running the simulcast with us for about 8 years, where we all met back in Patriot News back in the day. So appreciate them hanging out with us all these many years. But what's on the menu tonight, dude? We got lots of so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah, if I missed stuff, make sure you point it out to me because it was going every direction this particular week itself. I did want to say thank you to Philly Q for donating the one subscription to the Hulkinator channel. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. And we are currently live on all channels. Nope, it didn't want to connect to Twitch today for whatever reason. So yeah, Twitch is down. Jiggle the handle, maybe.
They suck, dude. And that's the one place that still, to this day, wouldn't give me my channel back. Twitch is the only one from Amazon.
Hey,
you know?
it worked.
Hey, all
I
right.
jiggled the handle, and it seemed
Jiggled the
to
handle and clicked
go
it on?
on.
Well,
It seemed to work out there.
while I got the mic and you're thanking folks, thank you, D Starboy, gifted out 5 subscriptions to the channel over here as well. We got you and Hulk. We got to have a threesome, and that's golf we're talking about, not anything else. Just so we're clear about that. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, so
Only feed starts after 10 o'clock.
I'm gonna do only armpits. And yeah, thank you guys all for whoever hung out with us on the Sunday night UFC event. That was a blast and such a well done event too.
Well, let's ask everybody in chat, if you watched the UFC event, the 250 down on the White House lawn, put a 1. If you didn't watch it, put a 2. Just wondering how many people didn't watch it.
Yeah,
we'll wait for that to come back around.
There was a ton of folks that watched it apparently, and they were saying Super Bowl like numbers. I don't think they got there. I don't know, but I don't know if the actual full numbers came out on the deal yet or not, but I doubt it's going to be reaching the Super Bowl. Who knows though?
Well, we'll see. We'll get there for a second. Let's get into one more little clip out here, and I just want to get your impression on this because at this point I don't consider it somebody's party or somebody's name because we've been always dealing with the R versus D the entire time, the different party affiliations itself. And, at this point of our mission, it's not so much, one person's mission. I think it's all of America's mission, at least on the side that want to see great things for America and not destroy some of the things that we so hold true. Let's throw this out here, a little dealing mean team.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be MAGA. To me, being MAGA meant I loved the United States of America. Even before I knew what politics was, I knew where I stood. I knew I had to be one of them. It was there I belonged. To me, it meant waving the flag when they told you to hide it. It meant telling the truth in a world full of lies. We prayed out loud, said what's what, and didn't care who got offended. And we could spot crazy a mile away. In a world full of Karens, we were the only ones laughing. While they whined, we got to work. We fought for the America we knew was still there. The one of freedom, faith, and a better future for our families. That's the dream. It was ours and we weren't going anywhere. We'd never give up and we'd never give in. And that is what it means to be MAGA.
So, I take this idea as not so much as Donald Trump, he started MAGA, as it brought it to the public itself, but I think it more gave an identity to the American public. So not so much that he coined it and took it. I think he just showed everybody what America was. If we all went back 20, 30 years, went back to the 90s, 80s or whatever, this is how a lot of us all felt about America, that, the culture supported itself. Now here at this point, half the other side of the crowd would tell us this is American exceptionalism and propaganda and nothing but, a bunch of lies. Well, to a point, yeah, there's going to be lies everywhere, but I think the true heart of America sits in this particular idea. And it's been coined MAGA here at this point. What was it called when Reagan was running, where he almost swept the entire nation and sat on California governor for a little while? This is nothing new, guys. This has been kind of repeated before, but they've labeled this as almost a racism or a political ideology.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's such a different thing too. It's like, because people are so angry on the other side. You know what I mean? And it's just... It's like us versus them, but that's how, quote, they wanted it, being the institution of the way they've been setting us up to basically been butting heads for all these years while they kind of get away with everything. And just to add on to your point there, Matt1776, one of the co-founders there of Pilled, said 80% of the folks in the chat went to, so he did a little poll, which you can do because you're live on Pilled now, so you could do a poll in your thing, but he ran a poll. 80% of the folks that responded had watched it, so it was definitely a good thing, dude. And I even said it, right, like the main event, like, oh man, I hope Justin wins, but it's not gonna look good, right? And he took a beating, dude, before he. We're going to talk about that.
Wait. We're going to get there. We're going to get there because there's some things that I was surprised about the event. that I wasn't totally sure on, but it took me a little while to figure it out. And we'll get there. We'll just do a little bit more wind up here. Here, ran by this dude because a whole bunch of people are celebrating the 250 out there, and a lot of your old favorite movies or this have been playing these as of recently. Yes, this was just broadcast a couple of days ago.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know you have rights? Well, you do. Sure, they're old-timey. They were written by a bunch of guys in powdered wigs and knee socks. Boring! But believe it or not, they're still surprisingly relevant. Your rights include, but are not limited to, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press, freedom against unreasonable searches and seizures, etc., etc. Wow, you lucky so-and-so. Look at you, you got rights coming out the wazoo, all because a whole bunch of good people, 250 years worth, sacrificed everything they had for this awesome wallpaper behind me. Know your rights, and for the love of Mike, don't ever give them up.
I'm Mike, and I approve this message.
I just dig that sort of stuff. I've got a couple more I'm going to show you guys on Saturdays. We start digging into that. But again, it's more this 250 celebration of light off what's going on in America. And it is awesome to see the reaction of all the foreigners here in the United States that we're told all the bad things about America and how racist we are and all the Karens all over the place. And they show up here and they're dropped off in the middle of the Midwest and they're just basically open arms, dude. They're like, I had no idea America was like this. And every one of them are amazed.
I like the bread response, dude. When the guy's looking at the ingredients for bread, he's like, "How many ingredients? Oh my god!" Like, and it's true. I mean, you don't need a laundry list of ingredients for all this stuff. And hopefully, Robert Kennedy be working on that so we can have food. Like kind of like Europe does. I mean, dude, I was amazed. As knowing as much as we do about the crazy stuff that they do, like I was amazed to find out that they actually went out of their way to make two different kind of cereals. But for us and then for Europe, I was just like, wow. And it's got to be extra expensive to do that for them too.
It's probably cheaper to make the stuff with all the artificial crap in there now. But that was some Saul Goodman back out there from, it's a great show out there. There's some more coming, guys. I'll show you the rest of them on Saturday because it looks like we're going to do an Austin Powers 4. They did something there too. We'll pick that up on Saturday as we get in there. We'll stay in the 250 side of this. But Space Shot, would you like to read that for everybody?
We really saved America before GTA 6. Yes.
So if you guys haven't, no, it's something very similar to that. Did I actually grab it? No, I didn't actually go grab it. Just to let everybody know, pre-sales for GTA 6 go online on the 25th. You can go purchase your copy of it now. So everybody on the internet right now was making memes that I did this before GTA 6 came out. So it's a running joke here at this point as the juggernaut of entertainment is going to land in the middle of November. So that is coming. Memes will be ready, and you're probably going to see one of the most original ad combos anywhere on the planet because they're using none of the traditional media to support this game. So it should be interesting just pointing out some of those things. And I thought that was pretty cool that they did that for Trump.
Yeah, I dropped you the, I think what would be the official cover art. And yeah, it's pretty damn close. It looks like lots of fun there. But yeah, it's a huge thing, right? 250 years. And it's like, if you can keep it, right? If it's a constitutional republic, if you can keep it, sort of thing. And we're at that crossroads where, we have a lot of people want to see a lot of change in this world. And I think you're right, what you said in the beginning. It comes down to us being louder, and we need to be more outraged about certain things that, previously people would just shrug off,
Well, let's think about that for a second. Because, I mean, we're stuck in a two-party system right here at this point, and some of the people on one side to say that the left is bad. Some of the people say some of the people on the right is bad. I point at both sides and say both sides have bad inside them for itself. But, some people come out and says, don't play the game. How do you not play the game in politics? Because they're only giving us two choices. None of us were going to go pick the left side. If I'd rather die on the cross than go pick for the left and have Kamala Harris and Tim Walz here at this point. But, is it going to be ever perfect? No. Is it going to be a bumpy road? Hell yeah. That's the way America was brought up at. It's never going to be roses and happy-go-lucky until the end of the book, which we haven't received or gone to yet. I mean, I'm waiting for more to come. There's a lot hanging on the edge of that plate, and I've been saying it forever. I want to see the baby. But, here at this point, you got to hold on to one particular political ideology. I don't care who you are, or either that or just go home and sit in the corner. Right? I mean, there's no other choice. You either got to get involved in politics and pick a side, which I hate to say that you have to pick one side or the other, but to get around the idea of, how do you get around the political corruption? It's always going to be there. In 3 or 4 years from now, we're going to be proven right on both sides. It's either monumental and it's institutionalized and it could never be fixed, or it gets fixed and we're all right and justice comes. But either way, we're still going to be here, right? Doesn't matter, in my opinion.
Like I said, I've said numerous times, back when they were doing the drops in 2018, 19, they were tracking how many people were following this stuff, right? Millions and millions and millions. So I would venture to guess there's got to be at minimum, tens of millions of people just like us around the world that want to see some change happen, right? And I've made the statement that I believe that change is going to happen, whether it happens through this plan right here, or if some other people need to, it is your duty, it is your right to basically recorrect the country, I guess is the best way I could put it without sounding like a terrorist.
Exactly. we all want to see justice served, but we got to serve it. How do you serve justice safely in America is the big question on that side. So just some things I've been thinking about. Let's get back into what we were really looking at, because the two sides of America, right? We looked at, the one between the Democrats and the Republican view. And this is pretty much, where is it? This guy right here. This is what we had. Just think about this on your choice of election when we are all going there, Kamala or Trump. This is what our decision was. Like America propaganda. It tastes good when it's on this particular side that shows the exceptionalism and the America First policy that's been shown in America. But it's going to be nations first for every nation for themselves. I mean, if Iran wants to make itself better, great, awesome. Same thing with South America or any other country itself. It's just that the United States is no longer going to be subsidizing the world. That's the point.
Nope. And, if you don't like the rah, 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 USA, you don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, You can always leave, right? And then people are like, well, we get force-fed with this stuff. It's like, but this is our country. It's not like we're ragging on, Democrats and like ragging on Democrats and trying to like put them down. No, we're wanting to build up our country, right? And it doesn't have to be bagging on anybody. It's just showing what a great country we are and can return to become again, I guess is the best way to say. But yeah, dude, I want that America again. Times change. We'll probably never get the same thing back, but Americana in the 70s and 80s growing up was nice, and then now it's much different.
Yeah, people gave a shit back then. You knew your neighbors. Now you're afraid of your neighbors and you hide behind the couch when the door rings. Versus bring out that special cake that your mom always had for guests. What do they call it? They called it something. That's for company cake. Remember that?
Fruit cake.
Oh God. Did want to throw this out on how big this massive setup what was done out here between what the at the ellipse right here with their own little stage and everything going on over here where most people were at. And then right over there is where the actual fight was. And they had a storm coming in. The storm guy told them, hey, dude, you better start at 10:30. And they're like, we can't do 10:30. This is 5.5 hours of show and stuff. It's going to go off until 2, 3 in the morning. They said just shortly before it reached up into the area, it split and went around and verged back on the other side of the White House as it drove over. So they had perfect weather, enough wind for none of those gnats or mosquitoes. It pretty much went off without a hitch, and some pretty damn good fights that happened out there.
Yeah, no, they were very good. And as much as I don't like them, if you wanted to show the radar, what's his name? Skullcap Tim had a little article on that as well. But yeah, dude, no, I think it was just, maybe it was God was answering our prayers. Oh my God.
His head had split. It went around the facility.
Dude, it's right.
And here's the
dead center.
yeah, we're right there. So here's the other part that I thought I was totally amazed, because we were listening to a little bit of that show with the music and all that, and they had the band there, but I didn't realize this.
Incredible that like the Red Hot Chili Peppers would come on, and people thought it was the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Drake, one of the fighters walked out to Drake, and it was the band. It wasn't them. So we had a executive meeting yesterday. We're talking about putting together all of their music that they played at the White House and Zach Brown's rendition of Star Spangled Banner, and putting it together in like an album format for Freedom 250.
Yeah.
So as we're watching some of that stuff, and they had the walkout music and all that, some of that stuff I was like, oh, this is cool. They got recorded music and they're playing it, and then it comes out later. Oh, they're playing the walkout music. Everything you heard in that 250, all the music came from the Marine Corps band, all of it.
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
They sounded just like them.
The only one I'll say, dude, that didn't sound exactly like it, but it's next to impossible to sound just like it, was Derek Lewis's fight. He has that. It's like a Houston, beat song, and you could hear the song what it was, but there's no way to match it exactly. But yeah, dude, some of those things were just dead on. And I even, as much as I didn't like the finale guy, the Spanish guy, the ay song, the Matador song. Ay, mi morena, el mi corazón. They did really good with that one too. So they were just, A++ for the band for sure. And A++ for the presentation overall. It was just stunning.
Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give that particular fight that we saw all on Sunday? I'd give it an 11, because these go to 11. I think they went up and above, and would never, ever going to be able to do this again. He said, I won't be able to do the spear, and I definitely won't be able to do another White House ever again. It was a one-time thing.
Yeah, it was awesome. What do you guys think in the chat there? Wonder what they're thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it was at least a solid 10, dude. But yeah, it seemed to go off without a hitch. If there was, I didn't see it.
No, it was good. Somebody's saying, is there an echo? I don't hear no echoes. We're definitely not playing anything. So here, we'll go into rip out this. We'll go into some of the other stories and fun jazz like that before we get into some serious stuff. You want to take a crack out at that?
I would absolutely love to. Maybe I'm getting an echo in my room. Echo. Oh. Okay. On July 4th, at the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument in beautiful and safe Washington, D.C., we are going to host the most spectacular Trump rally of them all, a tribute to America. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, this huge celebration will honor our country's people, spirit, strength, resolve, and triumphs. With the backdrop of the Lincoln Memorial and surrounding the beautifully new reflecting pool, more than 300 members of our strong and talented military bands, orchestras, and ceremonial units will perform patriotic melodies and American classics. And my playlist, we will have none of those people that put you to sleep and constantly complain. As we celebrate our country, rally into the next 250 years, this ensemble will be the largest formation of joint military music and ceremonial performances in history. There will be incredible flyovers and air shows featuring our top military pilots and equipment, and I will deliver keynote remarks that you will not want to miss. To conclude the program and commemorate this historic occasion, I will be launching what will be the largest fireworks show in history right here in our nation's capital. Do not miss it. See you on July 4th in Washington, D.C. And that's going to be, a Saturday night, I think?
No, 4th of July is on a Friday, if I remember right.
Friday or Saturday? No, Saturday this year. Friday's
it is Saturday.
3rd. So we'll be live.
Because they're celebrating it on Friday.
We'll be live from 1 to 4, and then we'll see what's up after that. Oh, crap.
1 to 4, so that means 7 p.m. So that's 3 my time. So that means he'll be starting an hour before we finish the show on Saturday.
No. So you'll be starting 7 p.m. Eastern here. That's going to be 4 p.m. your time.
Oh, we'll get a little break.
Yeah, we'll have 3 hours in between. We can just fire it back up.
There you go. So that's coming out there. What else do we got? I did want to throw this thing out here because I ran by this and I haven't seen this thing in a while here as we get into the CIA media narrative here pipeline, because it happens on both sides. And just some of the interesting things that I go back, for the Central Intelligence Agency about the Directorate of Operations, Directorate of Digital Innovation, all the little pieces that come together in InQtel. Tech Ventures, the ones that help crack open a lot of the Googles and the Sergey Brins and the Facebooks and, all those sort of things that, even though we've seen a lot and enjoy a lot of these particular, how would you say, these luxuries into our digital lives and social media here, but they're here all the time. And, as we get into more of this, AI stuff, I think it's going to become a little bit more totalitarianism as we start to check out what AI is going to do on social media. We haven't got there yet, but they're starting to crack off of that stuff, some in the European Union. So we'll talk about that once we get a little bit later. But I just thought this was interesting to go back and, take a look at some of the things that, we have to go through before we finally get our information. Before it was 6 to 9 months, and now it ends up being weeks before the lies are proven true.
No, it's super quick. The turnaround is super quick lately. But what do we got here, dude? InQtel down to influence, interface, cutout layers, public relation firms, defense contractor policy divisions, ex-Intel officials, and pundits. Legacy media. So do we have like social media on this, or was that part of...
No, it's all down here. Legacy media and corporate platforms that feed the info into that particular group, and then it's fed into the consumer layer. So here's all your operators, all the bots out, all there, the Twitters and Facebook, and of course all the Indian call scammers are there too.
Brigitte?
I just thought it was interesting to kind of look back at that because I'd seen that like a long time ago. I just happened to cruise by them. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the old school InQtel, Tech Ventures. What else are we going to get into? Oh yeah, it was Obama's type thing. Here, first we're going to get into this. It was a little bit out of order. So if you notice, we have the grand opening of Oscar the Grouch's trash can. I mean, Obama's legacy trash can where he hides his legacy in there. So yeah, that's going on over there. They had a big celebration. U2 was there. All the big presidents, all except for Trump wasn't there. Gee, I wonder why he wasn't there. So yeah, that was going on over there. But I just wanted to throw out for a quick piece here.
Well, after years of waiting and millions of dollars spent, the Barack Obama Presidential Center finally set to open to the public tomorrow after today's dedication ceremony right in the heart of the South Side of Chicago. It's the most expensive presidential library in modern history, as construction costs have reportedly ballooned from $330 million to at least $850 million. Although an updated final projected cost has not yet been made public, it all comes as some subcontractors are claiming they have not yet been paid for the work they have done.
So many of our black contractors are complaining about they have not got their money. But the other side of it, a lot of the black community and the newspapers do not know that these people have not been paid. Contractors are already in bankruptcy. That's what they're saying, that if it wasn't the fact that they worked on this Obama project, they would not be under this type of problem.
And now the Obama Foundation tells Fox News Digital that it paid Lakeside Alliance, a local construction company, as the project's construction manager, and that Lakeside was responsible for hiring, managing, and paying subcontractors.
Yeah, they're lying. Anyways, yeah, they opened up that trash can, had everybody there, sold tickets, all the NGOs. They seemed to be sold out well before anybody actually bought them. But that's the one way to get it. And they're going to have a full library in there. And Jay-Z says he's going to go in there and read the first page of every book inside the library. I didn't know he could read.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God. And, dude, I heard, and I'm not sure, I'm just going to check it right here with ChatGPT because we know how correct they are all the time. But I heard it was, adult, 12 and over. You want to go see, all right, first off, would you even want to go see his presidential library? But then when I tell you for an adult 12 and over, it's $30 each. Then you're like, I don't know.
What?
Child 3 to 11, $23. Children 2 and under are free. Illinois residents, 26 for adults and 15 for children, except for Tuesdays when admission is free for Illinois residents. So I guess if you're going to see a lot of people there, it would be on a Tuesday. But dude, what exactly is in that building that cost nearly $1 billion to build? $850 million to essentially build what looks like, in my estimation and most other people's estimation, a prison. I mean, what's inside this thing to make it?
Fraud's inside there.
Fraud,
That's
waste,
what's
and
filled
abuse.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit, because how'd they start off their particular show?
We'd also like to take a moment to recognize the original inhabitants of the land upon which we are gathered
Oh, look
today.
at that.
We honor the Anishinaabe, the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi nations.
Yeah, stolen land. You built your freaking presidential library in a stolen land, and now you're giving thanks to them first because you built it anyways.
Was that Valerie? Looks like Valerie.
That's what I would kept thinking, dude. That looked like her.
I'm pretty
But
sure.
like
Yeah.
she's too young. I would say that's.
Yeah, no, she.
You think they give her the Hillary Clinton treatment?
I think that's yeah, and you might be able to click on a thing that says RNC research there because whoever that is may have titled it different to say like who's in it. No, it doesn't. It just does. Okay. Sometimes people will requote it and put a different thing in it, but I'm 99% sure that is Valerie Jarrett, the one that.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I couldn't tell you.
Remember, Roseanne said she looked like a monkey, or she looked like she was from
still
Planet
does.
of the Apes, and then she's white, or she's Iranian apparently. So
Yeah, she's Iranian. Kind of like Huma and the rest of the group out there.
Huma.
Yeah, just to throw this out.
Former
Just a
Prime
little
Minister
bit.
of Canada.
Look, it's like a game show, dude. Listen to the music. It's like it's Price is Right, bitch.
Her Excellency, Dr. Angela Merkel.
Yeah, Merkel, they got all of them up there. Here, we'll show the big one. Where's all of them at the end?
Obama.
Oh.
They got one of the kids there. Or did they get both of them? No, they both did show up. Maybe they stopped smoking pot to show up enough. They had everybody there. I didn't see the list out there. I thought I had a tweet with all the list in there. Justin Trudeau, Angela Merkel, Kamala Harris, Bill and Hillary Clinton, George Bush, Joe and Jill Biden, Joe got lost, and finally Big Mike and Barack Hussein. And even some of the late night TV show guys, people were there too. So yeah, that thing opened up.
Am I
Good
right,
luck with
America?
that one. What's that?
Am I right, America? How funny would that be if somebody dubbed in and broke into the thing and put that in? And last thing, Michelle Obama's a man. Am I right, America? That would have been awful. But dude,
That was great.
That was like Justin Trudeau, all sorts of flashy. Like, yeah, that did sound like a TV show. It seemed like it was like The Price is Right.
Yeah,
Come on
exactly. The
down.
price was right. Well, let's get into some of the little pieces of the war and everything we saw here out there because Boss said this.
I'm the boss. Look, I be riding through my old hood.
Yeah, so he's still rolling, and you got to remember, it's only been, what was it? Like Tron dropped it a couple of days ago about him going down the golden escalator. Was it 10 years to the day? Was it on the 16th? It was on the 16th, 10 years to the day, because that was on a birthday for me. Yay, because my birthday was on Tuesday. I went to the beach with the family. But he was celebrating that too also at the same time. So it had been 10 years since Trump made the announcement and walked down that golden elevator or escalator. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it was Trump Tower who posted that out on Twitter or X. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they
I
have
just
an
thought
account.
it was cool.
Yeah, oh yes, definitely. Yeah, that's some long time ago, dude, that we can remember this stuff.
You guys feel old yet? I sure do.
Oh, actually, Hulk, it
what
was
else were you-
just for the record, so we don't have it miscommunicate on my part. It was the White House 2 days ago that said 11 years ago, a single ride down that golden escalator that changed history. Over a decade of trials, triumphs, and unrelenting fight for America. And
That's awesome.
One more stat for you, buddy. How many people do you think end up watching the UFC. And so I'll give you a hint. It's a
I'll
familiar
say
number.
117 million.
Okay, I'll give you another hint. It's a very familiar number to us.
17?
Yeah, it says 7 million average viewers in the United States on the average, and then it says 17 million total viewers across the United States.
Oh, that's
and Latin
bullshit.
America.
That's bullshit.
That's
no
what
way.
it says.
No,
That's ChatGPT, anyways.
No. They haven't released the numbers yet. We haven't got the numbers from Paramount itself. Joe Rogan seems to freaking know how much it is, but he has let loose and says that he's going to wait for Dana to make those announcements itself. But I think it's something like 125 million people tuned in across the world to watch it. Not only just Paramount, but the internet and foreign countries, because they were launching this everywhere across the land. So yeah, we'll see. Well, I'm waiting for Paramount to come out with it, because I heard one of the leftists come out in the morning and go, only 8.5 million people watched it. What? On a broadcast TV, or like where? Where'd you get your numbers from? Oh yeah. Yeah. Good luck. Probably more people watched it. 8.5 million people watched it stolen somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, I think we're in close to 100 million would be my guess. But yeah, both ChatGPT and Grok are both saying 17 million. But it's cute that they're using that number.
We'll find out, because I guarantee it's a lot more. I mean, you go fucking look at the numbers of Amazon and Paramount Plus people tuning in. It's going to be huge. Over there, because the big thing is, after the fight, the head CEO at 2:30 in the morning called Dana White and thanked him for producing the White House at some of the biggest numbers that they ever seen. So that's huge. All right, let's get into some other stuff. Talk about Iran. Interesting question asked of JD Vance.
And the difference between the two agreements. So first of all, the two big differences are not even in the substance of the deal itself, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this, and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program. We're going to bribe you with American money in order to stop it. Our perspective and where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective. Now, there are all these substantive differences as well. The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched material. So there are many differences. The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. This deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences, but I think the most important differences are where we're coming at it from a position of strength, and the fact that our Gulf Coast partners love this deal. And the difference between the two.
They're going to get $300 billion from associated countries to rebuild their infrastructure. They still get to charge the toll. They're still charging it. That's going to give them an extra $10 billion a year annually, and they can't change that for 5 years, is to my understanding over there. So some positives and negatives is what we're basically getting into when we talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on over here. But we did get a deal signed, but as of right now, Hezbollah and Israel are effing around right now. So even though we got a deal signed, they're still kind of going back and forth between each other itself. So at this point, I just saw that about an hour ago. But we do got ship traffic is what we're getting to. They do see stuff moving around, and they're going through, and it's going to take a few weeks or a month or so before this will get back into normal. Some are saying that this deal was pushed through because the United States only had about 4 weeks left of capacity to fill the rest of the containers that were coming to fill up inside the United States itself. This would relieve a lot of this pressure itself. Could be true, could not be true itself, but we did get a deal out of here, and this is open here at this point. And as far as I've seen recently, this is still active. This is still going, and we haven't seen any slowdown as of yet, other than Israel and Hezbollah kind of effing around here in the last couple of hours. Is the only thing that I've seen as of lately. Yeah, so you want to take a crack at this and read that for everybody where they signed this? I thought this was kind of interesting.
Sure. Yeah, and I think what they need to do is they need to put out a warning for both sides too. You know what I mean? Like, well, if you mess around, we'll turn you into glass. But here we go. Dr. Russell McGregor says, President Trump has just humiliated Israel. He signed the Memorandum of Understanding in Versailles. Versailles 1919 created the League of Nations and its mandate system, Article 22 of the Covenant. This provided the framework for administering former Ottoman territories, so Rothschild could create Israel with mass migration. Trump signed the peace deal with Iran in the same place that the Rothschilds forced Palestine to be invaded and overtaken. This is an epic and historical snub. Oh, no, but he's doing what Bibi wants. I don't know.
Hey, you want to do your math really quick? Because I found that interesting. How many years is that from then?
That's 107. 107. Yeah. Wow.
Just thought it was interesting. Just little pieces that you go put together. But, again, Israel's been kind of smacked off the side because they're saying they want to be part of this deal, and Trump had left them on the sidelines as secondary parties and left them out of all negotiations. So they're trying to be a little bit loud and make sure they blow shit up here as of recently. But this is moving forward. Did you want to read any of this stuff here?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And, putting them or leaving baby in the corner, so to speak, about Israel, well, they're already complaining like, oh, we don't want this. Like, listen, we're making a deal with Iran. We don't need your friggin' input, period. You know what I mean? Like, so we understand we need your, to comply and not throw missiles back and forth, which, again, will always be a tall order. Let's see here. Breaking. The U.S. has released the full text of its 14-point Memorandum of Understanding with Iran. Key terms include the U.S., Iran, and their allies agree to immediately and permanently end military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. The U.S. and Iran agreed to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity and not interfere with each other's internal affairs. The U.S. and Iran commit to negotiating and reaching a final deal within 60 days unless mutually extended. The U.S. will begin removing its naval blockade immediately and fully end the blockade within 30 days. Iran will use its best efforts to ensure safe passage for commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz for 60 days with no charge. The U.S. and regional partners will develop a mutually agreed plan of at least $300 billion for Iran's reconstruction and economic development. The U.S. will work towards terminating all types of sanctions against Iran, including United Nations, IAEA, the nuclear stuff, primary and secondary sanctions. Iran reaffirms that it will not procure or develop nuclear weapons and agrees to address its enriched material stockpile under IAEA supervision. Until a final deal is reached, Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, while the U.S. will impose no new sanctions and deploy no additional forces. The U.S. Treasury will issue waivers for Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, derivatives, and associated banking, insurance, and transportation services. The United States will make frozen or restricted Iranian funds and assets fully available for use. The United States and Iran will establish an executive mechanism to monitor implementation of the MOU and future compliance with the final deal. After signing the MOU and implementing key ceasefire, blockade, shipping, oil waiver, and asset release provisions, the U.S. and Iran will begin final deal negotiations. 14 and final. The final deal will be endorsed by a binding UN Security Council resolution. The memorandum will trigger a 60-day window to negotiate a final deal. Wait, we made a deal so we can make a deal?
So this is the other side of this. Khomeini says he never approved of the U.S. Memorandum of Understanding. Supreme Leader says he was pressured into the U.S. Memorandum of Understanding and never approved it. In an official letter, he warned warned the Iranian president if the negotiations are solely his responsibility and that he will be held accountable if the U.S. fails to deliver on the promised money on the aid package and all that fun jazz. So he's not happy either. Just wanted to throw that out there because you got the hardliners and the ones that Trump is talking to. There's some really nice people in Iran. He said that before. But you got the hardliners that have got their finger on the button, and this is the kind of results that we get out of these places.
Well, and also, too, whenever he comes out, and he said, numerous times over the last couple of months, right? Oh, we made a deal. Every time that happens, you have these people, the hardliners fighting against the, quote, good people, because you do have factions that are within that. And then even that guy from 2C TV says, and I don't know, if anybody can confirm it or whatever, but he said there's probably about 1 million people inside of Iran that they call the Immortal Guard, that when they get the basically the symbol or the signal, that they're going to essentially take to the streets and they're going to all remove the IRGC, because that's what's the main problem is these, religious fanatics that are in there that overtook this country that, again, was very much like us in the 50s and 60s.
Yes, Persian culture that was out there. So let's see if they can hold this together. There's a lot of FOFA moving around here over in that area, and a lot of people would like to see this fall apart. So, screw Jake Sullivan. I like this deal a lot better here at this point. I did want to throw out this little piece. Where does she talk about it over here? About Mark Carney right here.
Carney.
We just want to throw her in here just a little bit on there.
Because Britain can no longer afford to defend itself. And that's who just pledged to arm Kiev.
I'd like to also point out here that Department of War with Pete Hegseth has basically told NATO that we're not protecting you anymore, and if you're not going to come with any funds, we're not coming to your rescue. So you better start spending the money on infrastructure and replacement military items on your own. That's what That's what Trump also told Ukraine. You can keep going with the war all you want. We're not sending weapons anymore, but if the EU wants to buy the weapons, we'll give them to you, and then they could ship them over there and keep Zelensky going. But we'll come back to this.
A broke empire signing a check it can't cash. And that, not the war and not the weapons, is what has Mark Carney terrified. So listen to his real complaint. The line everybody quoted, but almost nobody understood.
The post-Cold War world rules-based order is breaking down. Multilateral institutions have weakened. Economic integration, from which we have benefited, is being weaponized. The international trading system, which we've relied upon for decades, is under threat.
Breaking down.
So it's a lot of the stuff that we've seen over the years that have been developed into this global elite of control under Trump here as of recently. Big pieces have been smacked and disappeared and will no longer be able to come back. In setting up America to sit in the right spot with the infrastructure package and AIs and all the stuff that they're throwing into development of America in the inside is weakening the rest of the world. This comes back to the America First policy that Trump's been pushing the entire time, that we should be first. I might not be happy with some of the picks that he's used, like Peter Thiel and some of the other guys, but again, it's the group we got to deal with itself, because I don't want the crazy people like Mark Elias trying to make election decisions for myself when I know already his ideology is nothing that I want to approve of. So again, you take the good with the bad and you keep moving forward with as much as you got, because I still think the general America is wanting this to happen to see peace in the world itself. But, there's a lot of bad actors that we've been dealing with. So just wanted to throw out there what Mark Carney's is about. Panicins.
Oh, for sure. And you heard him talk about the rules-based order. Oh, the rules-based order and this whole shtick that we've been doing forever essentially is under attack.
1,000 points of light.
Right? So we're under attack. And remember, we just had Frenchie Macron just, a month or two ago? What you have now is a country, a president of the United States, a president of China, and the president of Russia that are dead against Europe. It's like, but no, Trump's just doing what BB wants him to do, and Susie Wiles and Jared, Susie Wiles. It's like, shit's falling apart for these people. Sorry to say for the panicans out there, but as Hulk just stated, there are things that are just being decimated over the last few years that are not coming back for these people, and they see it too. And even Hegseth, when he was over there, he mentioned like this whole rules-based order is not going to be flying anymore. It's done. So yeah, they're using their own terminology as well. I love it. And if you're muted, unmute. And let me know if you start hearing
just
any
a little
pianos in the background.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the power control being stripped away from some of these people like the USID or the US Peace and those types of organizations that were funneling hundreds of billions of dollars into these countries or whatnot, and then coming back with FTX because that got shut out at the end right before 2020, before the election happened. So there's little interesting pieces that we've seen on the positive side that happen to take away their control and put it back in the American people. But I'm not saying we're in total 100% control itself, but every little piece helps to get America back into position to be maybe a position of power, not be this global monopolar type world that we don't want to be a part of. So.
Yep, and people have to remember that system has been implemented and been in control for quite a long time. So you can't just do something at the snap of a finger. It's impossible.
Somebody's like, F those 1,000 points of lights BS. Yeah, it's all part of that thing. An important speech. Here's what Pete Hegseth told Dato, because you better pay your dues.
At the same time, going forward, our annual NATO dues will be contingent on other countries meeting their defense spending targets. Where other allies do not spend with urgency, our dues contributions will go down. NATO will be a two-way street. It's only common sense. America cannot care for or pay more for Europe's defense than our allies do. And this review will think outside the box. Our national defense strategy states clearly that we're going to incentivize and enable our allies to step up and do their part. So we're going to keep a close eye on allies who are not doing that and who say no or maybe or wait and see when it matters most. It's a review that some countries will fail and others will pass with flying colors. In the end, the review is intended to both improve U.S. force posture and basing and strengthen NATO 3.0. It's intended to be constructive, as we have always been. There are no strategic surprises here. There haven't been. I've been clear with all of you since my first remarks to this body in February of 2025. President Trump has always done the same. Our direction of travel is and has been clear. This is the right thing to do by the American people. It's the right thing to do by this alliance. Europe can and must take primary responsibility for its conventional defense as it pledged at the Hague summit.
Amen. Amen to that.
If you don't pay your bills, we ain't paying ours. How about that? So that's the two-way street that he's looking at. And who's above his left shoulder or right shoulder right there?
Oh, the Punisher, Whitaker. Matthew Whitaker.
Remember, he's the ambassador to the UN for the United States. He got stuck over there. Didn't get a DOJ job or anything like that. So, yeah.
Hulk, really quickly, what happens if, let's just say, I don't know, you don't pay your electric bill for 6 months? You going to be able to turn that computer on?
Yeah. I get power from, I keep it in a bucket. I just keep little powers of 110 and little buckets around my room. So I just plug my cord into the bucket.
So to my point of this, why should we go around and still protect everybody, especially when it's so damn far away? And while I have the microphone really quick, because this one came in a little while ago, and this is interesting information, and I'm going to answer the question, Untitled 82. I'm going to say probably because most people haven't seen it yet.
What's that?
So thank you, Untitled 82 had gifted a subscription to the channel and then followed up with a $2 Rumble rant. It says, the aliens in Disclosure Day are called In Vivo 17, and then followed up with another $5 Rumble rant. It says, how come no one is acknowledging that the aliens in Disclosure Day are called Vivo 17? I mean, and I think that would be the answer, is that I don't think a lot of people have seen it yet. When did that come out? Did it come out just this last week?
I think, yeah, like in a week or so. I'm probably gonna go take a look at it. Some people say there's a lot of UFO propaganda in there that got fed into that. And they said there were some really stupid things in the movie, but yeah, it was an okay movie, is what some people are saying for itself. But I still want to go see it.
Yeah, and it's telling me here that June. Oh, it did. It was released on June 12th, 2026. So it's out and ready to watch. So somebody can go rip it on somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, your friend to go find the video for you over there in Telegram.
Yeah, he's good.
So here again, Benjamin Netanyahu is now holding the world hostage, openly admitting he's not complying with any peace deal instead of moving forward with his greater Israel agenda. Netanyahu says he wants to control all of Gaza and continue with the war in Lebanon. And they were basically throwing missiles back and forth at each other. He says we do not leave as long as Israel's security arrangement is not in place. I don't know. He wants a greater Israel. He wants to take over the whole Mideast and blow everything up like he did over there in Palestine. So Trump had told him to sit down. That's why he's outside the box, and he's making a whole lot of noise right now. So he's kind of acting like Zelensky here at this point.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. And I put it out the other day, dude. I said, a quote, space shot many moons ago. Quote, it will never be, how many times have I said this, Hulk, right? It will never be enough for them. We want to stop Iran from having nukes, and Israel wants to do what? They want to turn Iran into a parking lot. And therefore, you know, our differences, that's where they lie. Like, we don't want to see good people of Iran, because yes, there are many, 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 many good people that live in Iran, just like there are many, many, many good people that live in America. And oh my God, dare I say, many, many good people actually live in Israel as well. Oh my goodness. Every country, guys, every country has the good, the bad, the ugly, the deep state, whatever you want to say. Every country.
And what did I see is the Israel influence shortly thereafter tried to pressure the Democrats in there to bring legislation to the floor to force Trump not to end the war, that it's a bad deal. Think about that for a second, boys and girls.
Wait. That is so epic, because just 2 weeks ago, they were basically blocking him from striking them, and now they don't want him to stop the war?
Yeah, because it's a bad deal. And you better keep going with the war because it's a bad deal. We need to negotiate better. So yeah, it just goes round and round like on a merry-go-round.
I love it.
Exactly. What else do we got here? Oh yeah, I agree with Ezra Watnick Cohen here. I've heard him say this a couple of times. Would you read that for everybody?
I would.
It's an important point.
Ezra says, I've said this a few times before. As a political appointee, if you disagree with the president, you have a duty to vigorously argue your point in private. Once the commander-in-chief makes his decision, salute and move out. You cannot execute the decision, you must resign. If you cannot execute the decision, you must resign, and do so quietly. Respect the weight of the president's responsibility, which was given to him by the people. Do not undermine his ability to carry out his responsibility as commander-in-chief.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That he, out of all the people, him being part of the National Security Council, and he's not, total MAGA, Trump, whatever you want to call it out there. He's kind of middle of the road, but he has backed up everything that Trump has been saying or doing in the last few years, especially since he got picked for the 9/11 and JFK commissions, because he was the president of the Disclosure Project, whatever that was, that he gave that speech out in the Rose Garden.
Yep, with Mike Pence, dude. And that was so weird, wasn't it? Right? Wait, no, excuse me. No, that wasn't Mike Pence. That was the other guy. I'm mixing up my guys. I'm getting the guy with the glasses who said to Pence, we've done some of the most, crazy special operations we've ever done. And I'm like, wait, this dude was like a legit badass who was actually doing special operations back in the day. But yeah, his speech with who was he with that day? I forget who he was with. It may have been him too on the same day. Why can't I remember that dude's name with the glasses? It's not a very
I don't remember.
well-known name, like very, very well-known, but I'm sure some folks in the chat probably like, here, this is the name, idiot. Chris Miller. Thank you, Tree Hugger. Chris Miller nailed it first.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me.
Wow, I forgot.
Pi Squared actually hit it just a second before, so I want to make sure. Thanks, Pi. And
thank you, chat.
Yes, thanks, chat. A lot of people follow.
You ready for more?
We want more. Wow, wow, wow.
There, we'll just play the video.
End of the old Air Force One. Top Trump aides seem to be hinting at a farewell to the iconic presidential aircraft. White House Communications Director Stephen Chung tweeting, "Well done, good and faithful servant, the last ride." And Dan Scavino writing, quote, "I have been fortunate to fly around the world on this iconic plane for 5.5 years of the 35 years that has been serving as U.S. president. Thank you." This comes amid reports that White House officials have had discussions with the idea of making Trump's planned July 3rd trip to Mount Rushmore his first flight on the new Air Force One. How about that? Vice President J.D.
So that was supposedly its last flight as an official carrier of the U.S. president, and they are moving to the new one that they got from Qatar because it's basically ready to rock and roll. Here, some people were getting some pictures of it, moving it all around. I forgot to grab the damn picture, but somebody had pointed out that these are the similar colors that JFK Jr. had on his plane before he died. Also, sure with these, not exact color scheme, but the colors are very similar of the two itself. So I just thought that was interesting. Somebody had posted that up. And of course, all the plane fags out there, I want to make sure everybody gets a picture of the new plane as it comes out here. So it's probably going to make its first appearance over Mount Rushmore as the 4th of July stuff comes up. They're going to have the fireworks display over there. I think they're going to pass it over there. Or it might be the one that they're going to do in the front rally and fly right over D.C. I'm hearing two different stories.
That's badass, dude. And again, people keep saying, "Oh no, it's an Air Force logo or whatever." But whatever that one picture that the guy T.H. Gormley Photography took, to me that looks like a big ass Q on the back of it, and it doesn't look anything like the friggin' Air Force logo itself. And I don't know if it's going to show it on this one or not. Ooh,
no, well, it would be right there.
Come on, turn,
that
baby.
Side.
Keep turning. Damn it. Dang it. But yeah, you're 100% spot on, dude. Those are 100%. And I could have sworn you just had it on the screen a minute ago. Was it like something you clicked on before this? Because it was showing like a little model on Trump's desk.
That yeah. That's color. This plane.
Yeah,
yes.
There you go. That is 100% in the color of Junior's plane.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting on the color choices that got there. So enough about that kind of crap. What else did we get? Oh, this landed in LA. So it showed up in LA on the 17th of June. He's not on the plane, but it did land into LAX, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, it made a landing. Trump's planes. I don't know if it's the kids or whatever. I don't remember they have too many footholds inside California unless they're meeting with some particular people. Who knows? Maybe the Steve, the guy running for governor or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but that plane is active. It's normally because they were surprised because they normally don't see this plane without Trump, is what the guy was pointing out.
Couple cousins or something like that. Boeing arrives at the line. Yeah. Oh, this sweaty SOB. He creeps me out.
Yeah. So here, just read the little line right here. Just wanted to throw this out.
More than 200 of the world's elites registered for a retreat whose agenda runs from panels on cult building and sex to prepping for World War III. An associated app offers matchmaking. Leak exposes members of Peter Thiel's secretive dialogue society. Dude, he did.
Yeah, so
weirdo.
Remember, this is the group that he offered classes to, that you pay millions of dollars or whatever. You can come down to my South America area here and we'll do training and we'll have these big talks about, I think he did 4 or 5 like seminars on this stuff, talking about all these things. And I just thought it was interesting.
Well, the
He could be the Antichrist. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, nobody finds it odd this guy's out there doing friggin' documentaries on, Satanism and stuff like that. It's a little weird.
And his anagram for his name is, what is it? The reptile?
He is. And dude, I don't know if you happen to see what I have for you for Saturday about the Osborne clip, but that's interesting, guys. Don't miss Saturday's show. Are we dealing with people that are descendants of people that were, in the biblical time, or do we have people that are living still from that time among us? And I'm saying that kind of tongue in cheek.
The hell, which Osborne you talking about?
Sharon.
Secret society.
Was it when they were sitting with the son there and they're talking about Keir Starmer?
No. This is totally different here. I got it I got you for Saturday.
Okay, we'll save it for there. Yeah, just wanted to throw down there that it's starting to leak out. I'm going to look for more of the of some of the transcripts for the show, and we'll kind of talk about that on Saturday. But these are just some of the things they're talking about.
Wait.
Who was the other guy that moved down to South America and moved his kids and everything down there? Was it Peter Thiel or one of the other elites? I can't remember who went down there.
It might have been. I think it was him. But dude, before you come off of this screen, see what she says right there? She's saying it's Peter Thiel's secret society. Let it play for like 10 seconds. I want to see what she says about who
Peter
it's for.
Thiel's secret society for senators and oligarchs just got leaked.
Okay,
the agenda, panels on cult building, tips, and AI warfare. Wired just confirmed that a secret invitation-only organization called Dialogue, co-founded by Peter Thiel in 2006, had its internal records exposed online.
Yeah, I was going to go look for it, see if I can find some of the info. But that's kind of that thought control that they're trying to put on in the American public and the rest of the world. Because AI is coming.
For senators, congressmen, and oligarchs. Oh, nice.
Yeah, like an Epstein thing, but technological style. Yay! Here, long as we're talking about that, this Epstein stuff keeps coming out. Here's some more info for you that I didn't know about.
Fox News Alert, we have new information on Jeffrey Epstein's final days. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork has the details. Kevin.
Evening, Jesse. The media, of course, spent years trying to tie the president to Jeffrey Epstein. You even heard it this week, claiming they were best friends for years. Only now records actually show that Epstein hated the president, because he turned him into the cops. And the convicted pervy alleged sex peddler, diddler, well, he came up empty when he went shopping for dirt to save himself. Tonight, we're also learning more about his final days. As you point out, according to the New York Times, if you believe such things, Epstein allegedly tried to commit suicide multiple times before he was eventually found dead. FBI agents said his cell was filled with ropes and sheets and other linens that were not allowed. So how did he get that kind of contraband? Epstein also reportedly made multiple nooses himself. Learned how to do it, I guess. His cellmate, an ex-cop and convicted murderer, said that Epstein repeatedly asked him to make a noose and that Epstein was looking for any way out of his cell possible. In fact, according to his attorneys, there were handwritten notes offering prosecutors alleged dirt on Trump, but he didn't actually have anything, though his lawyers were still trying to cut a deal to reduce his sentence. Vice President J.D. Vance, for one, isn't surprised. He says Epstein always hated Trump.
One of the things you see in the Epstein emails is that Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump literally reported Jeffrey Epstein to the police.
Now, of course, sadly, there are still real victims out there and a whole lot of unanswered questions. Truth is, people could be linked to Epstein that we don't know about. And the Veep says he won't be satisfied until all the bad guys are put behind bars.
I've always been creeped out by this story because Jeffrey Epstein knew a lot of rich and powerful people and seemed to run in these circles while he was doing some very disgusting things with young girls. The story has always creeped me out, but we can't just prosecute people because we think something is wrong. You can only prosecute people if you've got the evidence to prove the wrongdoing.
After Epstein's 2019 arrest on federal charges, the president said he hadn't spoken to him in some 15 years, adding he was not a fan.
So just wanted to throw that part out there, some of the new things. Asking his cellmate, can you tie a noose?
Oh, God.
Like all this stuff that we didn't find out about until very, very later, as more of this information keeps coming out. I just find it interesting little tidbits.
Oh, I love it, dude. And yeah, it's the cop that was like the musclehead cop that was the previously, went down for murder or whatever. Yeah, this stuff doesn't seem to be going away, right? And so I think they keep trying to put out a little bit of nuggets to keep it fresh into everybody's memory here. Ain't going away.
Yeah, I would like to know where the hell they found that info, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's coming out from like court cases and paperwork that's coming that way. It's about the only way I could possibly think of, because I don't think it's anything new. It's all existing information. So we'll keep an eye on it. We're gonna have to spend a little bit of time over here with Dan Bongino and some of the things that he was saying, because some people are taking this out of context. If you've heard, have you seen this particular clip that he talks about this stuff yet this week? Mr. Spaceshot?
I saw one clip which he says, like, if this is the last video I make,
yes,
just know I was on the good side. Is that part of this?
Yes, that's at the very end over here on this side. But basically what he's talking about is the violence in America, because we just had the 250 UFC. We're going to talk about the terror plot that they were thinking about over there with flying drones and the president being exposed. And you notice J.D. Vance wasn't there, or Elon Musk. I'm just saying that they are paying attention to these particular threats. And as we start building this ideology, we start getting more of these particular threats. He's talking about Erica Kirk and having her particular problems. We'll play just a little bit at the beginning and then the end part.
Don't worry about me. The only reason I'm even covering this beginning of the show is because when something else happens, I want to be sure you can look back on these episodes and go, Dan was right. He brought the evidence and the logic, and maybe we should have listened. I'm going to say it again. This is not some pity party for me. My life is wonderful. Thank you, Jesus Christ, for every blessing. I would change nothing. I am good. I just want this all on the record because I'm sadly certain something else is going to happen. Fox News report yesterday, you've seen all the hysteria from the chatterbox talking head class with the I have secret knowledge, I have a lot of information but no evidence crowd. Sadly, the victim of a lot of this is Erica Kirk and others, as more threats materialize to her life. Now, I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Her husband, Charlie, who we all knew, guys, you put that, yeah, thank you. Report links anti-Christian extremism and assassination culture to alleged plot against Erica Kirk. Yeah, another one.
It's just not only Erica Kirk, it's the rest of the Republican Guard or anybody in the Trump administration itself, that we could have these people do something very, very bad. Like if this story we're going to get into about trying to drop a drone in the middle of the UFC fight. Yeah, that would have been very bad with those particular options itself. And I think he says it somewhere over here.
That there is no second creation. Because there's nothing to answer for here that's going to change your mind. But if there is an afterlife and there is a second creation, I promise you're not in it. That I'm sure of. Check this out. The closer you get to God, the harder the devil works on you. Well, the devil's working overtime now. He's cashing in that OT check. Probably spreading the wealth around too. Folks, something else is going to happen. If this is the last show I do, or Erica or anyone else, I just want it on the record that I was on the right side of this. And by the right side, I don't elevate myself or my character above you or anyone else. I just mean like the non-demon side. Folks, this stuff is dangerous.
That's the point he was getting at. This political ideology and raising the bar and trying to get people to attack and hurt other people because of the things they think about or say or do. Stuff like Charlie Kirk happens. And the response that you see, Cadence Owens and the rest of those guys. I don't follow those stories, but just throwing out some of the stories as we wind up to our deal for this terror plot that we started rolling. You want to start reading some of this?
I do, but you know, and it's not only on this too. I got a one there. Maybe we can get into that later on or not. But it's not just like the Erica Kirk. It's the black versus the white. You know, the people getting stabbed. Like the whole thing in
Give
general.
me a quick
is
30.
really bad. Sure, absolutely. The whole thing in general. You know, basically we got people. You know, the whole thing about Austin Metcalf, the kid that was stabbed to death by Carmelo Anthony, not the basketball player, but the track kid who decided to go to a track meet with a knife on him. Now, you know, my son goes up to the basketball courts, him and his friend, we're having a sleepover tonight, and, you know, they went over and played some basketball. You know what they didn't bring with them? They didn't bring a knife. They didn't bring any type of weapon. They brought a basketball with them, right? So you're bringing a knife to a track meet. That's an issue right off the bat. But anyways, Tristan Darius Jackson, the lowlife who filmed himself urinating on murdered teen Austin Metcalf's grave while chanting "Free Carmelo," is now in custody facing felony grave desecration charges. No respect for the dead. Scum exposed. So any of those people need to get absolutely put in jail. It's disgusting, especially somebody's dead and then you're peeing on their grave. Like, talk about the low of the low. But Bill Malugan here says, details via federal arrest affidavit reveal that a California man named Michael Allen Thomas was one of the alleged organizers of the alleged UFC White House terror plot. Feds say he admitted he believes the U.S. government is run by elites who sacrifice and eat children, had involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and are protected by President Trump. Investigators took screenshots of his signal chats, in which details of the plot were discussed, and maps of the USC event were shown with suggestions on where snipers should be placed. Yeah, good luck. Feds also recovered rifles and ammo. Sources tell colleague David Spunt those in custody are American citizens, and there is no foreign nexus believed to be at play. I don't know if I buy that, Hulk, but the idea that all these, you know, late teenagers from around the country all met up on this Signal app all by their own self, I don't know. It doesn't, you know, like, I wouldn't be able to invite Hulk to join my Signal group until I met Hulk, right? Or if I had his phone number, like, oh, hey, Hulk, here you go. I'll send you the link for the Signal chat. Here you go. Like, how do all these people get into one room from a different parts of the country?
You should ask Antifa that, because they're on the hit list already, because James O'Keefe and the FBI are all over their particular Signal chats. I don't know. You tell me, Mr. Space Shot.
Well, Hulk,
these people are...
Okay.
What?
Go ahead, you can finish.
I'm saying just, you know, these people are, you know, I don't know if they're fighting or if they're falling for ideology in this, where this is, you know, the point where, you know, the stuff coming out of the left saying this Epstein and they eat children and all the things that we all talked about 5-6 years ago, guys. I mean, we went down that rabbit hole and saw the human sacrifice and why they use this particular ideology. And, you know, it's they believe it. It is their religion. And I believe it 100%, but I'm not going to go out and try to institute some sort of attack on Hillary Clinton because she went and ate babies at Epstein's ranch or whatever. That's not me. I ain't going to go do that. That's not my job. I mean, I'll point and laugh and yeah, they got hot sauce in their purse and shit like that. But, you know, at the point, I'm not going to go try to institute to go take a drone over there and try to blow up the UFC or shoot people or anything. That's not me. I'm here to report and point fingers and have a good time. That's me.
Yeah, we're not about that violent stuff. And Hulk, just really quick, what I was going to say is in a second when I'm done with this, which will take no more than 15 seconds, I'm going to need you to return the favor. And where I would normally say I'm going to need a minute to go up to the bathroom, I'm going to need about 30 seconds to go over to the bathroom. But just really quick, in response to Untitled 82's information about In Vivo, the movie there, it says, in 2026 sci-fi thriller Disclosure Day, quote, In Vivo 17 is the code name for an elderly, tall extraterrestrial. The climax features the live broadcast of global revelation.
Wait, I don't want to hear it. You keep talking. I took my earphones out.
Oh no, this is just a Google thing. It's no biggie. It's not protagonist. So apparently the aliens brought out to say a message to everybody. All right, so give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
We done talking about the movie? Yay. All right, we keep going.
Taking my 30 seconds now, if you heard that.
I just didn't want to hear him talk about the movie or any of your things. I do want to go see it, and I always like watching movies fresh. I'll see a trailer. That's about it, depending on the director is and how it's all going to go here. Yeah, here's the other one here. Yeah, great. There. 2. Another Antifa-linked suspect facing conspiracy charges as the FBI continues to round up the radical Signal chat group with 23 members plotting pure evil, explosive drone raining down on the UFC Freedom 250 event, forcing mass evacuation, storming the White House gates, and sniping targeting administration officials. UFC Dana president confirmed he was briefed in real time. These are the kind of things that happen that bring the nuts out for these events. The DOJ is citing this threat in court as to push forward with the president's ballroom construction for better security for that. So I think I had one more little clip over here. Here's another guy, alleged ringleader of the failed terror attack targeting UFC Freedom 250 is an illegal alien. Abraham Alvarez from Mexico organized and directed the planned attack. He was arrested by the FBI on June 14th, and ICE.gov has lodged a detainer against him. Alvarez failed to leave the country when his B2 tourist visa expired in 2001. Oh, he's a DACA dude. Ha ha. This illegal alien should never been allowed in the country, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was a DACA dude and never left and, got the paperwork to stay and work release and all those sort of things. DACA recipients need to refile every 2 years if you didn't know. And if you don't pass, you could be kicked out of the country. Even though if you're going to college, you got to have a clean nose and no illegal stuff is what they're looking for. So that's definitely, why is he smiling? That's the interesting thing. This is no like high school, college photo for your picture album or something like that. I mean, seriously. This guy's smiling big.
It's his jumpsuit.
My boyfriend's named Bubba.
He just got some loving.
Here, I got to throw some out here.
This is the new paradigm right here, what you're talking about. Drone mitigation is one of the FBI's top priorities. We're actually teaching local law enforcement how to handle those kind of things. Now, we do have active countermeasures. I won't get into the nuts and bolts because obviously those are tactics that we don't want to share, but early warning is the big thing. And Lawrence, lastly, the simplicity of this. Don't be lulled to sleep by the simplicity. A good plan, violently executed, this could have been horrible.
So real quickly, can we talk about that second phase? So this was phase one, where they tried to get the overflow crowd, snipe them off, but then they plan on that second phase, storming the White House gates.
Yeah, this is reminiscent of what Eric Rudolph did back during the 1990s, where you set off a bomb at a clinic and then have a secondary device when the first responders come. What they wanted to do, there were 4,000 people gathered on that lawn, including the president and a lot of cabinet members and Congress folks. What they wanted to do was have the drones drop explosive payloads, have everybody tear towards the ingress-egress points, and then use long weapons to snipe them as they were leaving.
That's a lot of detail there, on how far they were going to go with that. How many people did they target on that list? Did I say earlier? Does it say how many they got? I thought there was a number. 23-member group. So I don't know how many of those people were actually involved. Interesting.
18 and 23.
Yeah. What? Oh, 23, 20. Yeah. Interesting. Here's another one here because states are on notice now because that's basically anything on the 250 you want to throw out. Anything else? Because, we kind of covered a big chunk of it.
Probably think of something later, but no.
So J.D. Vance and the fraud group out there says U.S. Department of Labor has officially put governors on notice. Unemployment benefits are for Americans who need temporary assistance, not fraudsters. The states that fail to protect taxpayer dollars and combat unemployment fraud will lose federal funding for the first time ever. So if they don't turn over the list and start asking a lot of the questions and start prosecuting some of these, like we're seeing with Bill Alasia, I think, or Celia, seeing over there in the what district? He's in the Northern District of California. That we don't start seeing more of these out there, Rob Bonta, for prosecuting the fraud in California, we're just going to cut off the money to California is basically what they're saying. So we know that you're doing unemployment fraud. It's there. We know it's there. This is how much money they're doing, and you need to start prosecuting with it, or else we're just going to cut off benefits, state benefits to you from federal government, is what they're saying here at this point. So California's a little nervous.
Yeah, Gavin, he's very nervous, dude. Loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Did I have him next or no? No, we're going to get into more of this. Two guys are on the Department of Labor here.
The Trump administration and the Department of Labor are officially putting governors on notice. The American people will no longer tolerate the blatant waste, fraud, and abuse of their hard-earned tax dollars.
Tim Walz,
and neither should
Gavin
any state.
Newsom.
We are demanding immediate action to combat fraud, waste, and abuse within the unemployment insurance program. That's why, under President Trump, the Department of Labor is committed to using every lever available to ensure taxpayer money is protected. To date, we've discovered that the state of California owes more than $20 billion to the federal government after years of fraud, improper payments, and mismanagement of its UI system.
$320 million in improper payments from Illinois, and New York, my home state, is losing an estimated $2 million every single day to fraud and improper payments, while posting one of the highest improper payment rates in the nation, more than 20%. But the days of excuses, they're over. States that fail to protect taxpayer dollars and jeopardize benefits intended for hardworking Americans, they should expect consequences. Acting Secretary Sonderling and I will use every available enforcement tool to demand accountability, recover stolen money, and ensure unemployment benefits only go to eligible Americans.
All right, enough of that over there. Who's the current U.S. department lead? Is he's acting? Who's the head of U.S. Labor or U.S. Department of Labor? I just was wondering if we had an acting in there. I don't remember that story. Do you?
Isn't that Linda McMahon? Or was it...
No, she's education.
Oh, damn. Yeah, Keith E. Sonderling is acting U.S. Secretary of Labor. He's led the department since April of 2026.
Who did he replace? I'm just trying to figure this all out.
Acting Secretary of Defense. That's the one that was on the left right there. Doesn't even say.
Because I wonder who they replaced and if that's the reason why a lot of these cases are moving forward.
Here we go. Who did he replace? Who? Ding, there we go. Lori Chavez de Remer. She resigned on April 20th.
Remer? Is that the Obama girl? That girl that was in the Epstein emails?
Lori Chavez de Remer. Deremer.
Oh, okay. That's that name. The last name just kind of popped in my head. All right. What else do we got? Well, over here in California, they showed back up at MacArthur Park and raided them again. They seem to be doing this every couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, come in here and sweep out all the drug dealers. People are making fake IDs, passports, and all the nefarious stuff out there. And just remember, they found MS-13 and TDA members in here that were operating inside the businesses selling fentanyl to people. So they've gone back and busted those people that take over those spots because they're never coming back to California. And guess what? They show up every 2 or 3 weeks and bust all these people again. So they picked up quite a big operation there in MacArthur Park.
Heck yeah. Surprise, we're back. MacArthur Park. The only reason I know that name is from the Training Day movie.
Exactly. Where's this at? Oh, we're Antifa members.
I've said before, we are just beginning to scratch the surface.
It's one side.
One side audio.
Yeah, one side audio. I don't know if I could change it for you over there, but it says, we have dozens of fraud cases in the pipeline involving systemic large-scale fraud schemes, but today we're announcing charges against 15 individuals, 11 of which are legal aliens who stole everything from SNAP, Mass Health, and Social Security, disability, and employment benefits. They have, how many did they say? Dozens and dozens of cases in the pipeline. So these two cases that they're talking about, I think this is over in Massachusetts, I think is where this came out of.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Where did it come out of? This is over in Massachusetts. They started busting these people out here. So the fraud, waste, and abuse is being exposed on a mass scale, and I seem to see it accelerate as of lately when they're just talking about fraud. And then over here, one of the 15 Minnesota far-left Antifa militants accused by federal prosecutors of being a part of the Direct Action Minnesota Dam for the Antifa members. They were harassing all those the immigration officers going around collecting people. So she's been unmasked. They basically arrested, what did they say, 11 of these? They went and kicked their door, 15. They kicked in 15 doors and arrested a bunch of people and are going through the prosecution. And right now, she's the only one that's been unmasked at this point, and I didn't listen to what she says or what she sounds like. You think it's cringy?
Yes.
I've never been violent. I've never had trouble with the law. The only thing I did was care about my community and my neighbors. And I would, against the government's violence to our communities, and to try to mitigate and help those affected, because they've been terrorizing us.
So you're going to use violence against them because the people that are in your country with waste, fraud, and abuse and violence are not supposed to be here, but you want to protect them. Yeah, we got that.
I mean, I'm not a violent person. Anybody that starts off with that, it's going nowhere good. And let me just thank R. Holtz Jr. Thank you very mucho out there for gifting 5 subscriptions to the channel. I do appreciate that. Did you need me to read this, sir?
Yeah, start right there.
Kedoke. That includes, quote, Antifa Kyle, who recorded himself issuing threats. FAFO, lock them up. This is a quote. A federal indictment was unsealed, charging 15 defendants with conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers and other charges related efforts of 2 Minneapolis-based Antifa groups that violently opposed the enforcement of federal law in our state. Quote, the defendants are members and associates of Direct Action Minnesota. Oh, Direct Action. Okay. Quote, earlier this morning, agents of Homeland Security Investigations conducted a coordinated law enforcement operation culminating in the arrest of 12 of the 15 defendants. One defendant had already been in custody on other federal charges. They all joined in agreement, a conspiracy to interfere with law immigration enforcement and operations. The conspiracy was not to interfere by their voice, but to do it by force. That's a crime and will not be tolerated in the United States. Direct Action Minnesota emphasizes their violent militant approach to politics and are highly critical of nonviolent peaceful protests. Oh, your protest sucks. You're not even violent. Come on, man.
So much raging me that
I remember him.
15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up. Okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet.
Idiot. Mute button, Hulk.
Yeah.
You're trying to steal my
it's crazy
speech,
that they finally put these guys together. So that's 2 operations just inside California, Minnesota, that they busted 2 different Antifa organizations that they've gone through, plus more is coming.
Ooh, Antifa mapping done long ago.
Yeah, that's the thing that's crying in the back of my head over here. The other thing I thought was interesting here, because everybody remembers the 15 accused, Northern Test Tricks. So this is 5 members of the Northern Texas Antifa cell flipped on their comrades and testified at trial, leading to the remainder of federal terror defendants being convicted. how many of the indicted Minnesota Antifa do you predict that will flip? Because this is the one that where they're attacking over in Texas, and they actually had guns and weapons and everything. They were trying to shoot. They did shoot at officers in that DHS facility. And of course, they all got busted and arrested and went to jail. But some people are ratting on the other ones there, and this might just happen with them.
Oh, they're all gonna do. They will all.
She's
cave.
a rat.
Yeah,
she's a rat. She's number one right there.
She's gonna be tossing some salad by next Tuesday. But yeah, they're gonna rat because remember these idiots. They're like NPCs, and they think like, oh, if I just do this, they'll let me out. Like they think they're gonna get out on everything, and once they know that you're basically up shit creek without a paddle, it's like, hey, you're gonna be doing 5, 6, 10 years unless you want to talk and help yourself out. Oh, okay. What do I gotta do? All right. Well, who else were you working with? Bing, 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 bing.
Exactly. So yeah, Antifa mapping is still moving along there. Here, yeah, you could read this. I just kind of chuckled and laughed at this.
New Jersey Antifa is now freaking out because, quote, James O'Keefe is obtaining internal screenshots from multiple Antifa group chats. I want to thank the many insiders within New Jersey Antifa who are providing all the screenshots to us. Welcome to Sunlight. Hey all, someone is taking screenshots of this chat and sending it to James O'Keefe. Oh, look at Pat left the group, Gabby left the group, Justin left the group, Jacob left the group. Oh, God.
It's a hiking group, though. They're just hiking.
Oh, God.
Yeah. This is old video from a long time ago in the early, 2017, 18, 19. Summer of Love. Everybody remembers those days. Oh, they're finally getting busted. Oh, here's another one for everybody. Yeah, read this for everybody. I was surprised this happened.
FAFO. Soros-funded group raided. While President Bossman, what the hell is this? Bossman, okay. So we're talking about Trump here. Rewind. While President Bossman, dealmaker in chief Trump, made huge progress at G7 that ended with the monumental Iran MOU deal signing. This happened in the States. FBI raided Soros-backed voter group. Federal agents raided the headquarters of the Ohio Organizing Collaborative in Cleveland on June 11, 26, as part of an ongoing investigation into voter registration fraud. The nonprofit, which received significant funding from George Soros-linked foundation, was targeted after FBI agents executed search warrants and questioned employees across the state. The investigation follows past controversies, including a 2017 case where a former OOC canvasser pled guilty to participating in a fraudulent voter registration scheme involving deceased individuals. Makes me wonder, did that OOC canvasser sing like a bird? I bet you they would. The lame OOC leaders condemned the action as a politically motivated attempt to intimidate voter mobilization efforts during an election cycle. We're finally getting closer to Soros. Trump's Iran deal is a ginormous move to take down the big name swamp. Heck yeah. Heck to the yeah.
Yeah. Interesting rates there. So how did the Antifa supporters react to this for the St. Paul, Minnesota courthouse? How do you think they survived there? Yep. Yeah. Oh, look, he got sprayed right in the face. So, yeah, they're not very happy. They're protesting out in front of the court that indicted their particular members in their area. They're not very happy. So they're going to sit there and protest and riot while the rest of us went to work.
And again, you wouldn't be all pissed off if you weren't there, and you shouldn't be there at all. So it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
So that's Minnesota. What else do we got? We got Supreme.
I'll be back in a second.
You sure? You got Supreme Court stuff.
I can read this quick if you want, and then I can do it.
We got a whole bunch of Supreme Court stuff to go through. If you got to go bathroom,
I'll leave
go
less
hurry
than
up.
a minute though. But Supreme Court rejected former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page's bid to hold James Comey and other former FBI officials personally liable for surveillance warrants riddled with errors during the Crossfire Hurricane probe. Page was never charged with a crime, yet subjected to secret FISA court surveillance across 2016 and 17. So they're essentially not going to let them. They're not going to let him go after them personally. Essentially, is what it looks like.
Because he said the deal that he got, and he got $1.5 million. We're sorry that we screwed with your life and did all this stuff to you, and agreed to it there at that time. He had turned around and went through the appeals and all the way up to Supreme Court. Supreme Court actually accepted it. So yeah, we'll take a look at it and see what we can do. And they turned around and go, hell no, we ain't touching this with a 10-foot pole, and then dropped it. So yeah, he's ass out on that side.
1.5 million though. I mean, crap.
That's all he got. That's all the Spygate stuff. And this is also including all the stuff that they're trying to get through on FISA here at this point, because Trump wants a clean FISA, and they're trying to push that through. I'm not sure how they're going to nail that, but they're trying to get the SAVE Act, tied into another bill to reopen America and get the rest of the stuff done. But, they think he's going to hold his ground this time around and try to get Thune to authorize this bill package to get the SAVE Act in there at the same time. It seems like he can get it done. I'm not sure about what they're going to do with FISA here. That's a whole other thing, because they were supposed to get it temporary, I think, a week ago, and it lapsed, and I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with it now. So, yeah, interesting things.
Yeah, don't want to shut it down just yet. We need it. We need it a little bit.
The case down in Texas that they were trying to do gun rights down there, saying that people who habitually smoked marijuana couldn't own guns out there. The Supreme Court has basically come back and said, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. As long as they're not violent and, not a repeated drug offender where they're always getting arrested and you're creating issues, then we'll take your guns. But if you're just hanging out smoking weed or whatever, then you're going to be able to buy weapons and all those sort of things. They were also, I can't remember what state it was. There was another leftist Democrat state. They were trying to get 18-year-olds, they can't buy guns until they're 21. And then the court said, no, you can't do that either. The 18-year-old has the same rights as a 21-year-old, and if that 21-year-old or the 18-year-old wants to get a concealed carry permit, then they can get one too. They were trying to really limit these people by age and all that, and the Supreme Court's like, nope. So we're still waiting on a concealed carry in Hawaii. Remember that story? Birthright citizen limits when ballot counting must end, and biological males and women's sports. Those are the ones we're currently waiting for decisions on here at this point.
Don't go though, Hulk, because that says the government can go after someone for gun possession if they're a habitual drug user. In this case, marijuana, no dissent. So the government can go after you?
Nope. This is you're reading it wrong. As far as my understanding is that they can't go after somebody who's a habitual marijuana smoker. This is a case in Texas, and it was basically dropped that the guy can own weapons as long as you're not a problem. You know what I mean? They can't do blanket and say everybody smokes weed, can't buy a gun. That's what the court decided. But they didn't. They said habitual drug user. If the guy's constantly having problems, then yeah, that would be an issue, and that would fall under law enforcement.
How do you know if somebody's habitual?
That's what they're asking. Because remember, they talk about drunkards. Remember during the thing, because this was back in April, maybe earlier. They were talking about the people in Congress that were called drunkards. And if you're at that point, then yeah, obviously they wouldn't let you vote in Congress. But you could drink what they say, like a certain amount of alcohol and still be fine and all that. And they didn't consider those people habitual alcoholics because everybody was drinking then. They were talking about that, Judge Kavanaugh and the rest of them, because he wants to hang out and drink beer because he likes beer.
I like beer. Do you like beer? My father was an alcoholic that killed himself. But Hulk, this guy, unfortunately, Gunther Eagleman, he totally screwed the pooch on the way he wrote this.
Yes.
Because to your point, as of today, June 18, 26, the U.S. Supreme Court's final result in U.S. versus Hamani is that the federal government cannot automatically strip someone of their gun rights simply because they're an unlawful user of marijuana or another controlled substance. Now, dude, I don't want to parse things too much here, but you got to kind of think like somebody that's, smokes a couple joints here and there is a little bit different than a habitual heroin user or a habitual crack user or an habitual coke user.
I agree with you.
right? So like, put it this way. Let me paint you a picture. I got Hulkinator sitting in his room, chilling out by himself, doing lines all night, and he's got a 357 with him, right? That's gonna end up no good. All right, now let's remove the cocaine and we'll put it with some marijuana. Hulk's got some marijuana and he's got a 357. Well, my guess is he falls asleep before he gets to the gun, or he raids the refrigerator before he gets to it. It's like, dude, people don't want to do that.
I'm gonna murder me the refrigerators. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different, dude. All right, I'm gonna need, like I said, no more than 30 seconds, maybe 45, but I'll be right.
Yeah, not a problem. Here, I thought this was interesting. Long as we're talking about voting rights and whatnot. There, this is in 2001. SCOTUS held a 5-4 vote. I'm not even say that last name. And Davis, that illegal aliens have due process rights, but avoid saying those rights included a bond hearing that could lead to the release from detention. Next fall, it will hear a new case that might reverse that. So the whole catch and release idea, there's a case coming up that this particular lady watches, or this group watches, that are talking about that will challenge this particular law, and it might be heard the end of this year as we get in there. So no more catch and release, and we'll wait for your due process. So you're innocent until proven guilty. Well, you're illegal alien, you're guilty. So let's see what happens. That's coming up there. This is another one here. Legal earthquake at the Supreme Court, which just called on the state of Oregon to answer the question below. The states that never argued for the right to mandate such drugs, only the Ninth Circuit granted it such as a right in the violation of federal law. This questions proves that all C-19 mandates were unlawful. Notice that the second half, can a state mandate a liability shield product? This is far bigger than anyone can possibly imagine. And if I remember right, Oregon was one of the first states that started pushing the COVID-19 out there, and then obviously they were giving them immunity from the drug manufacturers after the U.S. Army got done producing a bunch of them. So they're going to start asking questions of the state for those things. You know, can we give shielded immunity or liability for a product and force people to take it? That might get interesting. So that's coming up there too.
Heck yeah. Hulk, I sent you a little message, and so I'll just say it right now. I had a little idea to get you a nice little juicy Rumble Wallet commercial. What do you think, like before the end of the show, before we end it later, I can raid you, and then the folks in here will go over there, and then you can do a Rumble Wallet.
Yeah, whatever you guys want. Whatever you think. Yeah, whatever you guys want.
So I'm going to do mine right now, and I'm going to mute you out so you can just continue or say hello to the folks for a few minutes, but then I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Gotcha.
We'll go for it.
You can
no
keep
problem.
doing your thing. Oh. All right, ladies and gents, I should be muted for him. Okay, that way I will not interrupt him. And later on, guys, when we do raid, that would be very nice if we can hook up Hulk with some of the revenue. There would be nice. All right, guys, we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your own money. What a novel idea. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're the one in control. And if you ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem too. Now fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want. Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank card and be up and running in minutes. And once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like Hulk or me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description box, and download the Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. And in just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Boom. All right, and actually, wait till I get Hulk back on the line here and give you guys some information.
Opinions, which are posted on the homepage after the announcement from the bench. So we're going to have a big slap in the face, guys, as we start getting some of these cases coming out. And I think I was reading it earlier here. Where was it? The cases that we're currently looking at. Concealed carry in Hawaii, birthright citizenship limits here. So, yeah, just can't have kids over here and claim them as American citizens on vacation. When ballot counting must end in biological males in girls' bathrooms. So I was telling everybody, yeah, we got decisions coming out on the 25th of this month.
That's next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So we'll have lots of good news for next Thursday's show. So hopefully, I mean, like I've been saying, dude, when it's coming down to it, it seems like they've been voting for America. I don't want to say like voting for our side or whatever, but it seems like they're voting for America when it comes down to it, like the real important ones.
There are 17 RU cases still pending. Huh, that's interesting. Huh.
17. Who are the 17?
Where are we at too? Okay. There's two things going up over here that's going on. I don't know if anybody has heard about the international case report from the UK talking about about 250 women, girls that have been through the rape cases and the rape gangs and all the bad stuff you could possibly think of over the last 15 years. They came out with a report, even though that the rest of the UK government said it wasn't happening. They came out with a report saying all this did happen and the rape gangs and everything that Tommy, I can't remember, Tuberville or what, I can't remember the guy that's over there in the UK that's talked about a lot of this stuff over there, but he's Israel first right now, but he spent a little time in jail talking about the rape gangs in the UK. And yeah, Robinson, but yeah, he's Israel first right now. So I don't know exactly where to put that.
Yeah, I think he's actually Jewish.
Yeah, that I don't know if I can't say that. Yeah, so that whole weird situation is going on with their big report. And if you guys want to go dig into it, there is some crazy stuff that they talk about, how the kids were recycled from one location to another. They were reported with being raped. They were often just taken care of the hospital and then sent back to the same place they were raped at. Just crazy. Some of the things are coming out of that UK report. Homeland Security's got their own things that they're talking about out here that they wanted to also address on the same line. Anything else you want to throw out before I play this little clip?
Yeah, just, just the difference of it right now, right? We saw that thing with the poor kid, Henry Nowak, where he was stabbed, and then the Muzzy called the police and said, oh, this guy came up to 6 of us and started calling us, names or whatever. But generally, other than that, it's seeming like it's swinging back the other way, right? Because here it was just a shit show for absolute sure, and it seems like it's getting better. Over there, it seems like it's starting to teeter-totter back towards the middle. But again, I think they're a little bit worse off than we are because they've been actually swarmed for years over there.
Yeah, so we'll play the report.
As I have mentioned before, the previous administration, they we have 450,000 kids when we came into office missing that just wasn't checked in on. We have found 147,000 of them. We're still looking for 300,000. And we have the most horrific stories about that. And so when kids and human smuggling is taking place on either border, it's very, very devastating. I mean, we have one group that we broke up that these young ladies are claiming that they were raped 600 to 700 times. And these are teenage girls now. We have one that we just broke up recently that was a ring of people that had kept these kids down in a tunnel. And you couldn't write a horror story of how bad this was. Couldn't write a horror story. I mean, stuff that I'll never forget. And so the thing that's more personal to me is the human smuggling. It's because it's just not And the majority of it is not just simply coming here to work. And that's something that we have to work very closely on. And our Canadian partners know this too. This isn't anything that's unusual to us, but I think that's probably the one that bothers me the most.
Modern day slavery.
Yeah.
Sorry, choking on my water. I'm drowning in my cup of water.
It's bad. I dropped for you down the bottom less than a minute clip of J.D. Vance on The View either today or yesterday, but he's talking about literally this. So I think this is a reoccurring, what do you call it? Repeats are necessary.
Did have a
Oh God!
criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families, they're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminal.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions.
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
Please hold on.
I appreciate that. We're going to get you back, Anna.
We're coming back with more with the vice president.
Did have a criminal record.
Oh, there's a great picture of her looking like a Miss Piggy out on the internet. If you find it, you'll chuckle. You'll chuckle at it. But
you got to give him kudos for not bitch smacking one of these women. Like, dude, I couldn't. I couldn't with the people talking all over me all the time. Like, yeah, but oh God.
Yeah, that'll do, pig. I agree with you over there on that side. Yeah, but they didn't really care about any of the past stories from the different administration that facilitated a lot of this. And the second team comes in and tries to clean it all up, and they're blaming them for it. You know what I mean? Oh, well, what about all the kids? And you're using them as bait and. Yeah. Nobody talks about the 150 kids that had an address dropped off at a strip club. How about that? Where'd they go? We don't have no idea where they went, but somebody picked them up at the strip club.
Parking lots, strip clubs, people were not even vetted. Like the sponsors were not even vetted. So you could literally have had, and probably did have, numerous pedophiles that are like, oh, I'll take care of this kid. Did you happen to see the back and forth about, or did we play it earlier, dude? We may have played it, the back and forth with him and them about Epstein. Oh, he was like best friends with Trump. No, he kicked him out of the club. It's like, no, they were great friends. It's like, that's all these idiots care about. And that's why it pisses me off so much, is because only reason they're mentioning any of this whatsoever, they could give two shits about any kids that are out there. Their main goal is to bury Donald Trump. And if they think they can bury Trump with this, then they'll start speaking about it. Guarantee you, once you pull him away from the situation, they will not talk about it at all.
They also stood up another group here. So Todd Blanche announced that establishing a single national corridor to lead the fight against child exploitation and human trafficking with the goal to prevent, prosecuting, and ending human trafficking and child exploitation in America. Did they name the person that they gave it to? Who is it?
So what looked like a name in the last two lines there,
Ali Serrano. Yeah.
Ali Serrano.
So,
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I didn't know the name either, but they only pick somebody to be the lead on there. So we'll go keep an eye on it and see what they're doing, because that's another part of the thing they want to continue on, especially with some of these. So this is also an interesting read from Mr. Mike Davis here about Todd Blanche. Would you like to read that for everybody?
I would, just really quickly on the last story. Blanche taps longtime prosecutor to coordinate human trafficking and exploitation cases. So this guy Serrano, I think it's a guy, Alessandra Serrano, longtime federal prosecutor. So she has worked in various roles of the DOJ on and off since 2003, including a prosecutor in Southern District of California, the Virgin Islands. Oh, wait, bro. Southern District of California, would that be considered L.A., right? L.A. and Hollywood would be considered,
that would be
right?
closer, yeah.
Okay, so, all right, this person
Because
is
north is Sacramento.
Okay. So they've been worked at the DOJ on and off since 2003 as a prosecutor in the Southern District of California, which again would be L.A., Hollywood. Okay. The Virgin Islands. Geez, do we know anybody that did anything around the Virgin Islands area? And the Eastern District of Virginia, which I will remind everybody is right in that Washington, D.C. area. Been serving as senior counsel, the Deputy Attorney General, and recently completed a temporary assignment with the Senate Judiciary Committee. That's good.
Oh,
dude.
National Projects for Safe Childhood Coordinator at Maine Justice from 2017 to 19. Subject matter expert on child exploitation, child pornography, and minor sex trafficking.
Heck yeah. Sounds like a good nomination for this one, huh?
Oh, she's counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee also.
Heck yeah. Probably Ron Johnson would be my guess. But
Tried over 45 federal felony jury trials. Huh.
Heck yeah. Bill policy.
I'd just kind of take a quick look, see if there's anything important. We should go for it. Yeah, we're good. That's going on. Here, read this for everybody.
Senate lesson. Todd Blanche will get confirmed by August 7th as the next Attorney General of the United States. Here's the simple reason. 15 months ago, Senate Republicans voted to confirm Todd Blanche as the Deputy Attorney General. According to federal law, quote, the Deputy Attorney General is authorized to exercise all the power and authority of the Attorney General unless any such power or authority is required by law to be exercised by the Attorney General personally. In other words, the Senate has already voted to give Todd Blanche almost all the powers of the Attorney General, and he's done nothing over the last 15 months that demonstrates he's unqualified for the job. In fact, he served as the acting Attorney General for the last several months. So, after all of the blustering and showboating, Todd Blanche will be our next Attorney General by August 7th. Article 3 Project will make damn sure that happens. All right.
So that's their thought process that it's going to happen because he's already been confirmed as deputy. Why can't he be confirmed as the head guy? Why not? Right?
You're already doing it, right?
Interesting. Already doing the job. Oh, God damn. You should hear about some of this Maricopa County 2020 stuff that's going on, that's going down here. They do not want to agree with anything the court says about bringing any of their evidence against the allegations. No, we're not going to do any of that. But this is interesting. Read some of this stuff.
Maricopa County election director admits in court that employees were logging into the system from home to remotely verify ballot signatures in the 2020 election and others with zero observers or any physical oversight whatsoever. This creates a major security vulnerability and lack of transparency chain of custody in one of the most important steps of the ballot verification processes. 21 to 25% or more than 420,000 ballots in Maricopa County alone failed signature verification. Anyone could be accessing the data from someone's house, or that worker could be hacked and gain access to the entire system. This is a huge breach of security and compromised the entire 2020 and 2022 elections. And dude, failed signature verifications. And wasn't that the area in which they had the Sharpie Gate was going on over there as well?
No, that was begins with a P. Begins with a Pina, or it's a different area.
Pima, P-I-M-A?
I think so.
Okay,
but it wasn't the same area itself. But this is interesting because they know how many ballots were fraudulent because they've already seen where the signatures did match, and the court wants to see more of this info. Can you bring some of the info forward? And right now, Maricopa's group is not agreeing with what the court system is doing. I don't know what's going to happen, dude. I mean, they've been back and forth like 3 different times asking for information, and the court says, no, you're bringing it. No, you're bringing it. We don't want to. I don't know if we need, freaking DOJ to step in or what, but that's just interesting. Speaking about that, let's get into what California's deciding to do.
Florida Senator Rick Scott is demanding an investigation into alleged election fraud in California.
Whether the fraud is isolated or more widespread is to audit the voter rolls, but the state is pushing back with some election officials citing privacy laws.
But California is refusing to work with us. They're refusing to comply with the audit, and that's why we have to sue them.
When asked whether state leaders like Governor Gavin Newsom are cooperating as these election, healthcare, and homelessness fraud investigations ramp up, Asalee tells us it's quite the opposite.
Do you feel that they are doing enough to root out this fraud and cooperating with both your office and the federal government? Or do you think that they're not cooperating as much and there needs to be more transparency and open communication?
They are not cooperating anywhere at the level that is needed for this moment. They refuse to admit that they bear any responsibility for this fraud occurring.
Now, Asalee also weighing in on how the pending Supreme Court case, Watson v. Republican National Committee, could heavily impact California, since it involves the legality of mail-in ballot grace periods in federal elections. The RNC arguing ballots must be received by Election Day.
The universal vote by mail legislation that kicked in California about 2020 has been a big problem, and it's the reason why you see our elections taking so long to even count. So if the court does go in that direction, that's going to have a massive, massive impact on the way California conducts its elections.
So he's paying attention is what he's basically saying here. And I think there's a lot more to be coming here, because they did go down and raid Skid Row and start asking a bunch of questions about the election integrity force that comes out and pays $2 to $5, because they've already prosecuted the one lady that had been doing it, she said, for 20 years on behest of the state of registering voters with money. So yeah, there's more than an evidence out here. Here's another one right here. Would you like to read this gentleman's thing?
Why not? I got something for you too as well. Breaking: Shakir Khan, a former Lodi city councilman in California, has been sentenced to 3 years in jail for registering over 70 fake voters in a scheme to help him win his election. Khan, who is Pakistani-born, was convicted of voter fraud and related charges. The case involved fraudulent voter registrations that undermine the integrity of the local election. This conviction sends a strong message against election fraud. Shared from David Harris. This is in my backyard, and I remember our sheriff having a press conference to say elections in California are based on an honor system. We need voter ID, and it will be this November's ballot. Make sure you're registered to vote and vote yes on the petition. And make sure you vote yes for more higher gas prices, Hulk.
Freaking LA already did that. They voted for their higher taxes, and I don't know what they're doing with that whole situation with Spencer Pratt and the rest of the group out there, that he got edged out between Karen Bass, this new lady that her own district didn't even vote for her, but they voted for her and for the increased taxes in LA. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it looks like the Karen Bass was illegally elected by the homeless population of Skid Row. Every single homeless person was paid a vote for Democrat. They came up 3 times a week to pay for votes. Ugh, so disgusting. We got here.
I thought that this is just a part of campaign financing stuff here from the FTX stuff. Just a little tidbit out there, because remember, they were taking the money from Ukraine into FTX, right into ActBlue, and then into the Democratic Party and all that fun jazz. Read this little comment right here.
Ukraine. Southern District of New York judge declines to dismiss campaign finance indictment against former FTX consultant and politician Michelle Bond. Bond claimed that prosecutors promised not to investigate her if her partner, Ryan Salame, pleaded guilty, then indicted her anyway. Judge doesn't buy it.
They're in the beginning discovery phases here at this point as this case moves through. So I'm waiting for more of this information to come out. This is just some of the initial tid points that are coming out. So I find it interesting that she's also got indicted here at this point. So yeah, good luck. This probably happened 4 or 5 months ago, but we don't get to hear about it until later. So I'm going to keep an eye on this stuff here and see if we see more of this FTX stuff come out there. Because
Wait, don't go. You see what it says?
Don't go?
It says, so apparently the AUSA, or the attorney for the state, is AUSA Sassoon. at a meeting where Sassoon stated, quote, without making promises outside the four corners of the plea agreement, the government expected Salome's guilty plea, quote, would conclude the aspects of the investigation that concern Ryan Salome, but not SBF. Bond argues that the indictment against her should be dismissed because the government failed to comply with Mr. Salome's plea agreement by introducing Salome to plead guilty in exchange for an offer to not prosecute Bond. Well, Hulk, it seems to me, I mean, how many movies have you seen where it's like, all right, yeah, I'll talk. Well, I want to see it in writing, right? That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, so if they didn't get it in writing and this idiot didn't get it in writing and she made the deal anyways, well, that's her bad luck.
What else do we got here? Oh, Ezra Cohen talking about this one here. You might as well take a crack at this here because this is another thing.
All righty then. We got the Republicans agreed with Democrats to remove very fair and talented William Pulte from serving as acting DNI in return for getting FISA approved by the Democrats. However, the Republicans moved so fast with the hearings of the great Jay Clayton, current U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York.
Wait, stop that for a second. Did you see what he said? So the Republicans with the Democrats are going to remove Pulte from serving as acting DNI in return for getting the FISA approved.
The Republicans.
Yeah, and the Democrats. They're like, just get rid of Bill. We can't have him here. We'll shove FISA through. We'll get it authorized for you. No problem. Just get rid of Bill. Isn't that kind of weird?
Well, however, the Republicans moved so fast with the hearings of the great Jay Clayton, current U.S. Attorney for the SDNY, that Pulte would be gone before the Democrats would vote on FISA. Now, the Democrats are saying they will vote against FISA. So the Republicans wound up having fulfilled their commitment, but Democrats broke the deal. In addition to newly nominated U.S. Attorney, Jamie McDonald must be confirmed and blue-slipped. Because of the ridiculous views of Republicans on blue-slipping, Democrats are willing to nix it. I may not be able to get the extraordinary Sullivan and Cromwell partner, Jamie, approved, and I don't want to take Jay Clayton away from the great job he's doing until Jamie is in place. Therefore, to add a bit of intrigue, but for the good of the nation and the people of our country, I will not approve FISA without the Save America Act going along with it. Not complicated. Actually, the Republicans fell into a trap. Regarding the approval of our great patriot Jay Clayton, we are canceling the Senate hearing regarding DNI today and will not be going forward until Jamie McDonald is approved to be U.S. Attorney. In the meantime, Bill Pulte will remain as the Acting Director of National Intelligence. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So that totally disregards anything that has to do with the 210 days here at this point, because they've already confirmed the replacement, but he's not going to name him for the spot until they get the other things done first and have the replacement that's in the Southern District of New York for Jay Clayton. They want a replacement for him because they want to make sure that office is still cooking and moving along. So, yeah, it's your move, guys. They're going to leave everything it is. But here, dude, they panicked up here with Bill, and they wanted him removed because they thought he was going to come out and just drop the hammer because he doesn't have any political alliances. Who cares? I'll burn the house down. Let's go. You know what I mean?
I love it. That, choose your fate, essentially.
Choose your own adventure. What else we got in here? Oh, here's something to pay attention to. I thought was interesting. No, I don't think it's all that big and it's leading to anything justice-wise itself, but it is interesting.
One programming note, I want to make sure everybody on this show is aware of it. I put it as a disclaimer on all my shows. I mentioned it on my podcast today. For the next couple of months, I'm working as an unpaid government employee to help the government identify documents that can be released to the public. It's your information, after all. Bureaucrats keep us from it. I have an opportunity to help the government identify some documents, some secrets, and things you should know about when it comes to weaponization, election integrity, other things. We're going to work on that. But during that time, I just want you to know, I've stepped aside as the editor-in-chief of Just the News. I still do my reporting. We're still going to do the amazing show here with Amanda. But I want everybody to know that I'm doing this. I'm unpaid. I don't take any money from the government. I think it's a good role for a journalist to play, getting more information out. But I want you to know personally.
Don't you find that interesting?
Is the baby coming?
No, but he's going to sit in an office and look at paperwork and do a slow D class of what we could all look at for the last things that we've seen since at least 2018. Now, is this some sort of government assistance and he's helping the DOJ and doing some sort of prosecution because he knows the stories? And that I don't think so. But I think he knows enough that he's dug into some of these, and he is also being fed information about these ongoing investigations that we still haven't seen the baby on yet. But he's going to go take that role and go through some of the list and be able to declass some of the information that we all want to see and do, and not seeing the fluffy stuff that just comes out of the FBI or the DOJ stuff, the stuff that an investigation reporter would want to ask the questions on and dig into. So it's going to get interesting.
Definitely want to see the baby for sure. And there's another clip that's out there that Solomon had did. I think we're going to start seeing something very, very shortly. And again, just for memory, trip down memory lane for folks. I think we touched on it maybe a few weeks ago. But remembering the drops that were telling us that John Solomon, Sarah Carter, and I think it was Hannity were the three, protected journalists. But John Solomon told a story about one time how he got out of his car and there were two, unnamed individuals, essentially government employees, that were telling him, like, keep doing what you're doing, like, go for it. So that was pretty interesting. So he might know a little bit more than just your average cat, Hulk.
Yeah, what did Tulsi just release something earlier? I think she released something in regards to COVID or something. You go grab a quick look. Because somebody said here, it says, Margie says, helping Tulsi. Maybe. I can't remember her exact mission of where she's going to afterwards. I don't know if she's doing some sort of, group where they release paperwork or be an overseer of some sort.
You want to see what Tulsi's doing?
Yeah.
Well,
did she release something just recently?
Oh, well, yeah. She dropped the stuff on the biolabs last week. That was that huge one.
No, just like today.
Oh, I have not.
Yeah,
I'll take a look.
We need to go take a look. There was something, I think, in regards to COVID-19 and Fauci, I think somebody's alluding to. I'm not sure.
Let's see. 1 hour ago, my final day as director, I'm releasing never. Okay, here we go. Let me drop it for you, buddy. It's a little video. I didn't see how long it was, but here we go. Ding, ding, and ding. On her last day. So today's her last day, I guess. And that is a 5-minute video, but, maybe we'll listen to a minute or two.
COVID pandemic. Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins. Once again, revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit. It contradicts his sworn testimony. And we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization. Analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by rain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress.
I think we pretty much get the idea just by watching those little pieces of what she's basically telling us here. And it even came out this week because Joe Rogan had come out and talked about when 2 U.S. presidents were trying to get him removed from Spotify. You remember that when he started talking about COVID because he was so far ahead of the curve out there talking about ivermectin this and take that, horse shots, horse paste, the whole bullshit we all watched. Freaking just lied off over there that he was right 100%. So they're probably talking, it was probably like a Biden and Obama together that were going against like some serious, like they spend millions of dollars trying to pressure Spotify to censor Joe Rogan. And remember, they just had signed that $125 million or $1 billion deal where he had all that money over there on Spotify. So yeah, he wasn't going to keep his mouth shut. They got him to remove a couple of shows about COVID-19, but they couldn't remove his voice from the internet itself. And pretty much
undermined a duly elected president.
Jeez, Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard comes out and says the same thing. So we know, what do we got? The curly head dude from the Senate, Ron Paul, has endorsed Dr. Fauci twice for prosecution in regards to his lying in Congress. She's mentioned it here and released more of the information. I guess we can go look at it and see where else we want to see us telling the truth. Is anybody surprised by anything she told it? It's old news to me, pretty much at this point.
With all due respect, Senator, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, but with all due respect, you're an idiot, okay?
But here's the difference, Hulk. Now we have it out officially, right? We actually have a person that's backing it with documents, and it's not just like we knew. Of course, we all knew, and everybody listening knew, right? But now we have it.
We were reading and researching.
Yeah, we were researching and reading along, and now we have the factual basis to bring it out too. So I'm gonna take a look at that link later and see what that link goes to.
Yeah.
If there's more stuff.
Yeah, it might be some of our Saturday stuff. We'll see what we get into. Let's get back into where we need to go.
OGNI News press release. So it's basically a press release that's about a page. And it was also a story that came out a few days ago, also talking about how the Biden administration was trying to shut down anybody that was going against the narrative as well.
Yep. What else we got?
Thank you, Nestle, for eliminating synthetic dyes from your products.
Nestle stepped up and delivered. Now it's time for every food company operating in America to do the same and make America healthy again. And speaking of food, Hulk, I'll need 30 seconds. I got to take my chicken breast out.
Wait, you got one more. Read that one.
Candy maker Mars will debut a version of M&M's made without artificial dyes in August, but the bags of chocolate will be missing 2 hallmarks: the colors brown and blue. That's crazy.
They can't.
Huh?
I guess they can't synthesize it. So we're getting a lot better food because if anybody's eaten Skittles lately and they look a lot different, that's all part of that system itself. I don't know where Space Yacht went. He's quiet. He walked away.
No,
we'll keep moving along over here.
He's right here. Play that video, and then I'll read the other one when I get back. I just got to take this out.
Wait. What video? Which video?
Looks like that guy had a video. The man. The next video. Nope.
Oh, this?
There you go. I'll be back.
The house one. Yeah. Well, good luck with this. I looked into this.
It just came out that in 242 cities in our country, a starter home costs $1 million. $1 million.
Before or after
inflation? I was going
inflation?
to junior college. My best friend bought a house in the suburbs, a brand new house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath house for $21,000. $1 million versus $21,000. You know who did this to you? Government. Year after year, decade after decade, deficit after deficit. That's what's causing the cost of everything to go up. Education, housing, everything, cars, everything has gone up because your government can't live within its means, which you...
I hate when they grandstand. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. It's for them setting up regulations so they can actually start building more houses, give more, I wouldn't say tax incentives, but to get a lot of the regulatory aspects away from home buildings. So we're talking they can even start doing small EDUs and more of a lower area. So what was it? You stupid shit. Okay. So basically they wanted to get into more of production of housing itself. So they want to make sure that the wood is still going to be available here in the United States. So the home builders will be able to process the homes without having any hiccups over there, because if they have the hiccups while they're going through building, it's going to make the housing cost a lot more, and then pushing out a lot of the regulatory shit for not so much the payment side of the system. They still want them to adhere to the rules of the way that they need to build the homes and still be to code, but they want to get rid of all the DEI crap and things that were put in there for the Green New Scam. In like California, dude, when you sell your house in California, there's a $60,000 fee to transfer it to somebody else. That's their new law here in California. So yay. Just weird shit that they're trying to steer around to get away from a lot of these states. Because now they're saying that the average buyer of a home, what they say 10 years ago, was about in their 30s, 32, somewhere there. The average home buyer in America today is 47.
Average home
Think
buyer?
about that one. Yes, is 47 years old.
Damn.
And then they went into, well, if they got a 30-year loan and didn't do any refis, they're going to be this old by the time they get it done. You know, they're going to be 80-something. Yeah. Yeah, interesting things. Yeah, we're getting old, folks. Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Mr. 51-year-old.
Yeah, I just turned on Tuesday. Yay. When's your birthday? December or something? The end of the year, I think?
November.
Yeah.
And apparently my next door neighbor's father's birthday is the same as my son's, which happens to be the same as another one of our neighbors who's 3 years younger than my son, one of his friends.
Yep. Here, take a crack at this. I thought this is our new Fed chair. He's on the job for 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Quite the speech. The market is dropping in response to Fed's first meeting with Kevin Warsh as a Fed chair for one key reason. We will have far less information going forward. During the press conference today, Fed Chair Warsh announced that the Fed has, quote, dropped forward guidance as smart. He even hinted that the, quote, dot plot could be changed or eliminated along with all forms of Fed communication, such as the policy statement and press conferences. In other words, the market will now have less Fed outlook, which means more uncertainty. On top of this, the five new, quote, task forces established by Warsh were said to have grand objectives with minimal guidance on what to expect. As markets have repeatedly proven, uncertainty and volatility go hand in hand. The new era of Fed policy will come with more volatility. I would say, no, that's BS, because their speculation BS is what causes us to be expensive. And again, I'm not a financial dude whatsoever, but it was basically when the economy's doing good, I think they would put the percentages up on the interest rates, right? They would make them higher. And I think that the Trump was saying, like, doing that is just killing your economy, essentially. And I may have one of those wrong there, but essentially, too late Powell was doing all this stuff in the wrong way. And then, of course, they would never lower rates when President Trump was in office. But as soon as Biden gets in there, or anybody before President Trump, sure, we'll drop those rates down, no problem. Absolutely disgusting.
I don't think they're going to lower them whatsoever. Just the way that the kind of inflation and everything they're looking at. I think that they've already signaled that it's going to stay the same, and it might go up. And then they asked Trump the same thing, and he just shrugged his shoulders. He said, "Oh, that's the way it goes." So it's his guy in there, but they're changing the way that they look at the numbers.
Yep.
And not guessing anymore is the biggest thing they're doing. They're bringing in AI, because first they were doing polling numbers. They just called the other Fed chairs and asked them how the shit's going, and they could tell them whatever the hell they wanted. So they just called the people and started hanging out and talking. And they're like, dude, that ain't going to work no more for the stuff that we're talking about here. So they're bringing in computer aspects, AI, and they're going to actually use models to determine where the inflation and all the market rates and everything is going to be at. That's their plan for the change on this thing. Versus just kind of the meeting thing, the phone calls, the polling. Yeah, screw all that. So that's their plan.
Yeah, and what do you think to the final statement there? Is this person is saying essentially, we'll have less information going forward, and Kevin Warsh said that they're going to be dropping their forward guidance. The new era of Fed policy will come with more volatility. And I said, I don't know if you heard it, but I said, their forecasting, it always seems to do us dirty. So maybe we don't need that stuff, but I don't know. What do you think? The forward guidance crap.
Oh, well, that's what they're talking about. I think that forward guidance is what they're talking about when they're doing the polling. They're going to drop that, and they're going to go with a more fact-based approach versus an opinionated approach. These people are professionals. They're hired to do the job. They look at the numbers and the particular Fed district and they'll talk to banks, whatever. But they want it more on the computer side, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, and I think I probably said it, I don't know, wrong. Did I get that right earlier when I said when the economy was doing good previously in the past, they would raise the rates on loans and whatnot. And Trump, I think, was kind of pushing towards the other way, like you should actually lower the rates if the economy is doing good. I forget what it was. It was like they're saying when the economy does good, they would raise rates when they should have been lowering them or something along those lines. Again, not a money guy.
Yeah, opposite. Yeah, not for me right now. Answering question from Reno gal out there says, what beach did you go to on your birthday? I went to Huntington Beach. I went to Huntington Beach with the wife, my daughter, and son, because it's everybody's birthdays because we're all Geminis. So it's the son's on the 25th. He turned 17. The girl turned 20 because she's on the 6th, and I'm on the 16th. So it's birthday palooza. So we went to go hang out at Huntington Beach and did the beach thing, and it was quite cool. There is a lot of international UK people there. You could tell them like right out of middle of nowhere because they're used to cold weather a little bit because there's only like 72 out, which is warm if you're sitting in the sun. But they're all out there swimming like it's no tomorrow and having a great time. And I'm like, yeah, they're not from California. Those people are from the UK swimming in it's like frozen ocean and shit. I was laughing.
I love it. Love it. I won't go too far into the ocean anymore. I never liked being deep, especially when you can't see what's under you. I don't like that.
We'll save that for Saturday. We'll do that one on Saturday. Let's go here to California. And what their plan and idea is, you ready?
They're starting to issue a license to be gay. What? You have to have gay certification now.
California, they have this program. They're pressuring utilities to award $633 million in contracts to state-certified gay businesses. California has hired teams of bureaucrats to run the state's gay certification program. Goes so far as having a gay certification checklist. One of the checklist items is 3 letters of reference from personal contacts on their company letterhead or stationery who have known over 1 year and can vouch to the status of the individual's gayness.
This is insane. I've got to have 3 references that I'm gay. They're starting to issue.
So, yeah, California wants to award particular businesses a certain amount of money. I think they got $600 million to do this particular project to award those monies to these particular industries inside of California that promote good gay culture.
Wow. And think about it like this, Hulk. What about, all the gay people, they don't know how to go get a license, and they have to go jump through all these hoops just to do all this stuff. Oh, wait, you need to go you got to get a second from this person, a nomination from this person and this person, but showing an ID to vote is a problem.
Yeah, you got to show your ID to join the gay pride parade.
State license, gay license. Gavin is officially gay.
Yeah. Harmy Dillon's all over this, so it shouldn't go too much farther. She's been talking about it here. Yeah. This is her. Let's just get a little bit of this.
I'm going to break some news for you here, Todd. I just sent a letter in the last few minutes to all the commissioners of California.
Like these people.
Public Utilities Commission, warning them that the supplier diversity program that they're forcing down the throats of California's public utilities providers is unconstitutional, and that private parties could sue them for that, such as potential vendors to public utilities that are not selected for contracts because they don't check the boxes of the protected categories that they're trying to favor. And of course, the United States Department of Justice, if the Attorney General certifies that the case is in the national interest, could unleash me on the Public Utilities Commission and on companies that are violating the civil rights.
Do it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, she'll go after him for sure.
Yep. So that's the little pieces you got to pay attention to. Might as well go here because this happened this week. And you got to remember, Gavin Newsom never said he's being investigated for.
Great to see you, my friend. Sources familiar tell Fox News that the investigation, Will, has actually been ongoing since 2025 and that the probe is based on whistleblower complaints related to Newsom and his wife's personal finances. Now, the case is apparently being handled by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Sacramento. And as you pointed out, the governor remains defiant, saying today that the president is, quote, coming after my wife, Jen.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. So let me say it again. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. And the country is watching.
Governor also claims the investigation is intended to undermine any potential White House bid in the future. Now, as for his wife, Jennifer, she's a documentary filmmaker who runs the Representation Project. It's a nonprofit, and it seeks to advance feminism through media production. However, that charity has attracted pay-for-play allegations, with critics claiming that what essentially is happening over in the Golden State is corporations with business interests in California donate to the organization in an effort to gain influence over Newsom. Now, you may be wondering, what about the DOJ? Well, they did not respond to a request for comment with respect to any potential investigation. Will. Great to see you.
Yep, that's always the thing they always do. We do not make comments about ongoing investigations. But everybody in Newsom's family got a little bit of a phone call and some letters asking for some paperwork and whatnot, especially into the wife, because they're probably funding money into her little NGO that she's got. I think they're looking at a few $1 million, maybe $3 or $4 million. So that part's not all that big, and never mind the fact that you got to remember Gavin Newsom also has that other issue, him and Xavier, what's his name? The Attorney General for California. Becerra. Thank you very much, because that whole issue is still going down over here. And I would like to just play the very last part of this bullshit right here.
This midday, Governor Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, pled guilty in federal court to conspiracy to commit bank fraud and wire fraud. Williamson was originally charged with 23 federal counts. Among the charges, she was accused of conspiring in a scheme to steal about $225,000 from a dormant campaign account belonging to Javier Becerra. Williamson faces a maximum sentence that includes up to 30 years in prison on the conspiracy charge, including a fine of $1 million. She served as Newsom's chief of staff for about 2 years and left in November.
So just as a little reminder, she was also Xavier Becerra's assistant for a long period of time before he got up into the attorney general spot itself. And they were doing a whole bunch of fraud, laundering money, and those sort of things. Nice, expensive trips to Mexico on the taxpayers' dime. All the fun things that they all do in D.C., just California style, I could say at that point. And the Biden administration, under the attorney general there at that time, who was that under Biden? I forgot. What's his name?
Not Holder. I know who you're thinking about.
The little midget dude. Yeah.
God.
So anyways, midget dude wanted to come in and take down Bonta and Gavin Newsom at the same time with this corruption and all the other shit that they were doing. This is right before he ran for the attorney general. Bonta got that spot itself. As they were moving pieces around, it seemed like they got the deal because the FBI went and charged Xavier's ex-assistant, which is now Gavin Newsom's assistant. And they waited a whole effing year before they told anybody because the indictment came out a year later. And they're like, Gavin, what about this lady that worked for you? And then this guy over here, and the FBI was over here at this, and they have all this money over here. He just said, I have no idea what's going on, and just kept quiet about the whole situation. That case is still cooking, folks. And I'm still waiting for more of this information.
Merrick Garland, and yes, I had to look it up,
yes.
Dude. But dude,
he was almost SCOTUS too, by the way.
Isn't that crazy? How good of a job. But then we ended up getting the other one that couldn't tell you what a man versus a woman was.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
So we end up getting instead of him, we got the girl that didn't know what a man or a woman was.
Yeah, exactly. What else do we got? Oh, what did Gavin Newsom have to say about it?
Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president. Donald Trump isn't just...
Yeah, he looks great as the Joker. I don't think he's going to make it there. Yeah, just a little bit of this on how the MSCs talk about this particular thing. Yeah.
Managing editor, she's senior investigative reporter, sorry. Also, contributor Sam Simon. I'm giving your title, Sam, along with staff writer at The Atlantic and MS Now contributor Mark Leibovich. We have James and Lisa standing by, along with Mike Madrid, who is here as well. All right, Carol, not to give you a new job. We like you here at MS Now. Please don't go anywhere. Give us your reporting, your details on this Newsom investigation.
I can't help but grin since Sam and I are friends and neighbors, and he keeps trying to hire me. But okay, back to news. I just want to be clear that we have some interesting context and news here, but we are still trying to confirm all the boundaries of it as we go. First off, I want to say that we have from sources two really important nuggets. One is that the Central District of California, the U.S. District Attorney's Office in the Central District has been pressing the line prosecutors to come up with a case against Gavin Newsom. However,
this is Bill's office we talked about, Asaley.
The prosecutors and investigators that have been contacting Newsom are actually based out of Sacramento in what's called the Eastern District of California. And there was an investigation of a staffer of Gavin Newsom's that was based out of that office, or if not led by that office. And now we are hearing again from one source with some reliable information that this is the office that Newsom is referring to, although he may not know it, that the investigators who have been contacting family and friends are based out of that office.
A little nervous out of there. So that's the, I thought it's a Northern District it was called. I thought that Bill Saley's from that goes all the way up into Sacramento. But they've been cooking on this thing since 2025. So this is not a sleeper case and it's coming out of nowhere. We're just seeing the tidbits of it. So I think all the fraud, waste, and abuse took a lot of investigation, a lot of time, and you got to just let it cook. And I think we're to that point where we start ringing the dinner bell.
Oh, for sure. And I looked it up after she said it, because I'm like, well, who's running the Eastern District of California? That's Eric Grant. And Hulk, I mean, come on. Newsom's doing such a good job in California. I mean, there's hardly any homeless. There's never any fires or anything like that. Like, the guy's doing a good job, and he does everything on the up and up. And I don't know why Trump's going through his desk drawers and looking for all this, that, and the other. It's just like, it seems like they're looking for a crime. They found the guy and they want to find the crime. Oh wait, that's what they did against Trump. That's right. That's what they did against him. Yeah, these people are so dirty and slimy. That is their biggest nightmare, because to have somebody actually go in there that they never thought anybody would go into California and start, looking up the paperwork and whatnot. But there is a lot of fraud out of there, and they've already exampled for us close to $1 trillion worth, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'd also like to remind everybody that Bill Saley also said that he's waiting for certain districts to certify their election results before prosecution can move forward. Think we got another week and a half left in California before they certify everything? We'll see. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Won't get juicy. Ooh.
Now, I ran by this. Says investigators find the weakest link and then get them to flip. Multiple flips expected. 23 count indictment, plead for 3. This is that lady that I was talking about before that was the assistant. So 20 got settled to cooperate. This is the COVID fraud is potentially part of the case. Campaign fund account looted as part of the investigation also.
Ooh, dude. That's huge. They're going to wrap it. Dude, it's a huge RICO, the whole thing.
So that's 23 count indictment. She pleads for 3. They gave her a deal. She said she didn't roll over on anybody. But that one district is still moving along. So 20 got settled to cooperate. COVID fraud is potentially part of the case. Campaign funds account looted as part of the investigation. There's somebody's ratting over here, dude. That's what it's basically coming down to in this whole group of this office. And I think they're starting to roll over on each other.
Oh, yeah. Pain in 23. That's what I was saying earlier. That was one of the old drops that had something. Remember when he let out his trip code? You knew Pain would be coming.
Yeah, we don't need to. You could shut up over here. Cycling money. This is the first partners program. It goes into the representation project and then gets funneled up to Girls and Entertainment Club. This is also the one that got some of that money, that $100 million they did for fire aid that they didn't give to any of the homeowners, and it all got distributed all over the place. This is one of those companies that received that money itself, including this guy down here. So it's going to get interesting. This is some of the circles that they're talking about. But this isn't uncommon. This is something they always do. This would be just lunch in D.C.
Falconator, let me be clear. President Trump is going after my wife, and she's done nothing wrong. Okay? What he's trying to do, I hate even the way he freaking talks, dude. It's so disgusting. It's like he's trying to lull you to sleep.
I forgot to actually grab the clip of the guys out by the reflecting pool. But just to let everybody know, Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool is now under heightened security amidst fears of action by the pro-algae protesters. So they were wondering why the stuff was hanging around, because they got all the chemical and the right machines and everything. And they're like, well, time should be here. That's why we're vacuuming all the dead algae off the ground, but it's still showing it out on the pool itself. And they've seen video of people going out and putting stuff in there, high phosphorus and whatnot, to agitate the reflecting pool to grow more algae itself. But now it's actually clean. The other thing that they had a problem with is there's a small area that was lifting the blue paint, and everybody kept tugging on it. So now it's a bigger area. Only one area I found tugging blue paint. All the other stuff was kind of crazy out there, but the reflecting thing is pool is clean here at this point, but they've got like guards out there and the whole thing. Whenever somebody posted it. No.
Algae blooms.
I didn't see it below. So that's going down. What else? What else do we got for you? You ready for some international stuff to cover out really quick that I find absolutely crazy?
Certainly.
Yeah, the United Kingdom is going to announce additional restrictions in July on VPN usage. This is on top of the social media restrictions and mandated online identity verification, because they're going full on digital ID, and you need a license to watch your TV at home, even though it's free through the air television. All those weird shit that they're doing here. But they're adding this onto the top of it because they don't want you to get news outside of their particular area itself. So we don't want you going to X, because X says bad things over there. Elon Musk is a bad guy. So we're going to ban X from the internet, and you need to have an ID to be able to go to X. Those types of things is what they're pulling through here. So I thought that was interesting. 4chan is still in that court case. Would you like to read this for everybody on what the UK is trying to do?
I would love to. 4chan's lawyer says the UK government, quote, does not understand the internet and has given Ofcom an impossible task by trying to enforce British online safety rules on US-based platforms. Preston Byrne, who represents 4chan, argued that the site is protected by the First Amendment and doesn't have to comply with UK demands. Quote, the UK just isn't getting the memo that the United States has a different system and we do things in a different way. He also claimed Parliament misunderstood how the internet works and set Ofcom up with a mission it can't realistically enforce. Ofcom fined 4chan €520,000 under the Online Safety Act for failing to implement age checks and other safety measures. 4chan has refused to pay. Be like, yeah, take me to court. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, we're an American company. We have freedom of speech here. So yeah, go ahead and try to sanction me. What are they going to do? Send out try to arrest him?
We're an American band.
Okay, here's another piece here for you, coming from good old Sam Altman here, talking about the history, not the history, what the AI stuff is going to turn into. And I thought it was an interesting comment here, folks.
A kid born today will never be smarter than AI.
We go back to the beginning of that.
A kid born today will never be smarter than AI. Ever. And a kid born today, by the time that kid like kind of understands the way the world works, will just always be used to an incredibly fast rate of things improving and discovering new science. They will never know any other world. It will seem totally natural. It will seem unthinkable and Stone Age-like that we used to use computers or phones or any kind of technology that was not way smarter than we were. You know, we will think like how bad those people of the 2020s had it. A kid born today.
Yeah, I always have frustrating deals with your stupid smartphone that you always have problems with trying to do. But this is just an interesting comment because, you know, the first thing I thought of is life before the internet. You know, we all thought the internet would be, you know, either mesmerizing or a big problem. It's going to take over the world, those types of things. And it's presented some problems there, but I think is just as big as a thing because, you know, my kids grow up of always having the internet. It's always been there. They've never dealt with going to, you know, a library and looking at the Dewey Decimal System and trying to research shit. I just go ask AI to tell me the answer. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of on the same thing. What do you thought?
You know, so I can give you two parallels. You know, when I was younger, I used to collect baseball cards, right? And they have a Beckett that comes out monthly, and it would tell you the prices of cards that were in there. Well, when I needed to know the price of a certain card, I would have to run my butt up to the library, and thankfully I lived 3 streets away from it, behind the baseball field we used to play at. But we'd have to go there and look it up. Well, now my son is, you know, him and his friends dabble in the Pokemon stuff, and dude, he's got an app that he can literally point at the card, and it goes, cha-ching, okay, that's Pokemon number 123 of this series, and it's this if it's ungraded, if it's graded 9 or above, this is what it's worth. Like instantly. So, and it's going to get faster and better than that too. But again, what are we trading off? We're trading off humanity for, you know, faster things. Everything's got a trade-off.
Yeah, I thought it was hot shit back in the day when I was a young teenager walking around with those little Sony little portable little television. They had the little screen on there in the antenna, size of a little Walkman. I thought it was hot shit. Look, we can watch TV. Look, Cops is on. Everybody sit down. Let's watch it. Things like 2 inches by 2 inches.
Like, dude, all you got to do is call this number. When you hear a beep, put a series of numbers in there, and then hit the pound number. Hit the pound button. The person will get that number, and it'll read a number to them. It's like, dude, that was like what I dealt with in high school, like a pager. Like if somebody needed to get in touch with you, it's like, all right, they would page you a phone number back, a number 911. Everything was 911. Emergency, call, hurry. Oh God, those were the days. And dude, you ever have a Nextel? Those were fun.
Well, I just going to do this really quick. I just want to hat tip anybody out there that ever mailed a penny to the BMG so they would ship you CDs, music CDs. Remember that? Everybody mailed a penny. They're never gonna freaking find my ass. I'm like 12. They're not gonna come arrest me.
Dude, we used to do all that stuff. We had a bread thing here. My brother ended up winning it, dude. He won a practice with the Boston Bruins, and this is back when, I don't know if he was a coach, but he was on the ice. Bobby Orr. My brother got a Polaroid with Bobby Orr signed from a Hostess bread thing that we used to put in, and we used to do that stuff all the time. Remember, cut off the UPC labels on this box and send them in. Probably still do it to this day.
Oh my God. Who out there as a kid wanted the toy out of the cereal box and went out there and opened it, poured it into the bowl, found the toy, put everything back in there, put it back in the in the what do they call that, the pantry, and walked away? Oh look, I got the toy when I ate my food. Look,
sounds like me before Christmas.
I cheated it a lot more. What else do we got? We want to cover and throw in here as we cross our 3-hour mark here. What was this? Oops. As we go through here. So that was AI. Oh, the AI thing with Anthropic's export controls. It wasn't Amazon. Days before Amazon flagged Fable 5, and the White House called Anthropic about one company, SK Telecom. SK Telecom is a Korean largest carrier, investor in Anthropic, and a partner of Project Glasswing. White House ordered to revoke SK Telecom's access to Mythos over alleged ties to China. They said we don't have any connections to China. Anthropic complied and revoked access the same day. Then the same week, Amazon flagged Fable 5 guardrails vulnerabilities leading to the export control, leading to revoking all foreign access to the products, which means it could break out of its own box and hack itself and do some really bad shit that normally keeps everybody inside the box itself. It could basically do some really bad hacking and those sort of things. It's built into it. It's designed to do it. It's a pen tester type of thing. So yeah, go hack that bank's website over there and transfer a couple $1 million into my account. Yeah, I could do that. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, dude, think about this. Think about the flagging ability right here. Well, Amazon flagged this or the White House flagged that. Well, what about something that gets so smart and gets out there and stops the ability of these things to flag anything? like it's coming. So once one AI hits that level of, like, I don't know what they call it, totality or whatever. I don't know what they call it, like where it can go in and do anything. Like I can go into any site, I can go into NSA, I could crack any code, do anything. Then that's a problem. So the first people to get to that, they're good. Everybody else is kind of looking up to them.
Yeah. So since Anthropic hates Trump and there are a bunch of leftists out there, they all got censored, so they can't release any newer products and have basically censored this particular AI from any other access outside of our government. So, yeah, that's interesting. What else did we want to get into? Anything else? Oh, yeah. Read that comment right there.
What do we got? Jeff Bezos told Trump the Washington Post was his worst investment before slashing staff. People there are terrible. Wow. Didn't expect that.
Yeah, was there anything else we wanted to throw in here at the end of the thing? That was the Epstein stuff. Oh, yeah, in case anybody didn't know, the leftist Southern Poverty Law boss funneled $1.2 million to the neo-Nazi lover. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, the one that didn't want to become a leader anymore, but they paid him more money to stay home, and you don't need to work. You stay home. You work on your hate. Yeah, that guy. What else do we got? Oh, read this.
Quote, Carlos Mencia was arrested at his Encino home at 7:05 a.m. today on 12 felony tax-related charges by the L.A. County's DA's new business tax fraud unit. 6 counts involve personal taxes and 6 involve his businesses, covering the period of 2019 to 2024 for approximately $8.7 million in unreported wealth. California reportedly lost around $300,000 in taxes, and he allegedly ignored 78 warning notices. DA Nathan Houchman described him as one of the 500 greatest tax delinquents and noted this as the unit's first major case. If convicted, he faces up to 10 years in prison. Bail is set at $250,000. So stealing jokes and hiding money? Eesh.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, if you don't answer back and will pay your taxes out there, they're going to kindly come knock on your door here. I also find this interesting that this is also happening underneath the Trump administration, which is trying to weed out the waste, fraud, and abuse in California, and they just hit a big target right there for $8.7 million. Just saying, we see it happen.
Booyah.
I think that's all I got, folks. I am done. I am spent. I have gone through all my tabs out there. I'm saving some of the stuff for Saturday as we get into there. Got a few things to talk about out there. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed the show itself. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Since Mr. Tron is out on barbecue. Where did he say? Brazilian barbecue? Or
he said his neighbor was having a Brazilian barbecue or some shit. I'm like,
I really think that's code word for some swinger thing going on. I'm not sure. But hey, at least he's having fun with that.
And again, we don't judge people. You don't do what you like. If you like gay clubs, that's fine. Want to go to gay clubs? More than your show, that's fine. No, he said a neighbor had a barbecue. But again, dude, just a programming note. Those of you guys at the very end, do me a favor. I'm going to raid you guys into Hulk, and then he's going to read you a Rumble Wallet ad at that point, which will greatly help out Hulkinator. So please hang out for that at the very, very end.
Yeah. Should I release the scratchings and all that?
Yeah, actually, why don't you thank your folks, and I'll blast out a kid's guide quick while you're doing that, and then we'll meet back in the middle, and then I'll raid you.
Sweet. All right. As we get rolling here, I want to say...
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to do a quick one here, trying to keep the lights on. Then I have to go back downstairs and deal with these teenagers. That is 12:30, and they're still being very loud. I sound like an old man as I'm saying it. I'm like, you sound like an old man here. All right, guys. Let me see if I can do this. A lot of times it doesn't let me, but here we go. All right, parents. Real talk here for a second. America is about to hit a huge milestone. We're coming up on America's 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters. Not just the fireworks and the hot dogs, but the story behind it all. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday, and it's honestly a great way to introduce kids to how America began, who the founding fathers were, what they risked, and why the ideas they fought for still matter today. The guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks it all down in a way kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring schoolwork. If you care about raising kids who know where the country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. The best part, it's completely free. With this special offer, you just need to pay $2 for shipping and handling. Head over to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com. And The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday for your kids today. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. Boom. And all the booms in there. Let me see if Hulk's talking over here.
You're watching, and make sure you smash up the thumbs up button. We appreciate everybody always coming by, hanging out. You guys rock.
He sure is.
What's up? Might be doing a little gaming tomorrow. I'm not sure. Who knows?
He's going to be doing some gaming. That's for sure.
All right. So how do you want to end this or what?
So yeah, well, thank you again, R. Holtz, D. Starboy, Untitled, and so those people for gifting out subs to the channel, and then thank you for the 2 rants and very interesting post that the aliens are named Vivo17. That is very weird. All right, so what we're gonna do is after we say goodbyes and stuff, I'll do it on my side. I'm gonna raid you guys into Hulk so you guys can see all the outro, the Table of Titans. I'm gonna go into the chat and hang out with you guys while he does the outro and all that and stuff. So I'm gonna say my farewells, goodbye, and I'm gonna raid into your room and we're gonna watch the outro together. Sound good?
Okay, so you're gonna send everybody over here and then end your stream. So I'll just hang out.
Yep. So everybody hang out.
I'm just hanging out right now.
Hang out for a few minutes. No, so you could say your farewells and goodbyes. You already did there, and as I will always say, thank you to the mods out there for helping ourselves and many others out there over the years. And always a big hat tip to Country and the folks over there at Liberty Based News. Go give them a follow. Always have the news going 24/7. Been with us since we all met back in the Patriot News days. Any other thank yous you wanted to thank before I exit, Hulk? We'll see how this works out.
No, I'm absolutely good. I'll just hang out and think I'm doing everything right. I'm still here.
Think so.
I ain't going nowhere.
All right, guys. So remember, and we're going to raid you guys into Hulk's chat, and I will see you guys there in about a minute because this is going to help out Hulk greatly, and this is in lieu of donate. So look at this like you guys, look at this like you guys donating to Hulk. So thank you guys. I think I'm going to be live with Ghost. If not, I know Mike said he'll be ready to go for only 2 hours, and he has to take Renee to a doctor's appointment at noon. So I should be live at noon tomorrow. So yes, show noon tomorrow. All right. Thanks, Hulk. Great show as usual. Good layout of the show as normal. And
nobody leave.
Yeah, nobody leave. Everybody on the Space Shot side, you're going over to Hulk's over here. So do not leave. And we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. So remember, we're not leaving. Hold on. And actually, you know what, Hulk? Probably be a good idea if I had your link ready to go so I could actually raid you. So we're gonna all watch. We're gonna all watch the show together on Hulk side of things, guys. So hang out with me here. 1 second. Ding ding. Right, here we go. Raid. And we're kicking it off as we speak. Hulk, ding.
Yay!
Confirming it. All right, and as soon as we do, Hulk will be able to do one of them Rumble Wallet ones, which are usually a little bit better. So I will see you guys in Hulk's chat in about 10 seconds or so. All right, and I'm going to end my side of the show. Just really quick outro, nothing flashy, just my 12-second outro. All right, see you guys over there. Peace.